Okay, so we're all here. It only took us a few extra minutes to get ready, which is no surprise with new people in a new group doing a new Twitch. But today we play Dreamchaser, and we play with the wonderful people of the Gamerstable Society, the Gamerstable RPG podcast. So from left to right on the Twitch stream, I got Brandon. If you'd say hello.
Hello.
Man, we should do this totally Gamerstable style, right? It should just go down the board. It should be like Brandon, Eugene, Brandi, Jayson. You should just be like, hi, this is...
Hi, and welcome to Gamerstable. This week, I'm joined by...
It's Eugene next.
Eugene.
On the screen. It's
Yeah, on Twitch it is.
Jayson.
Okay, well, that's good. Brandi introduced everyone, so moving right along.
There's more.
That went about as well as it does when we do it.
Right, you have the power of editing.
Gamerstable authentic.
Okay, so everyone is on roll 20, which you can see in the bottom middle of our Twitch stream here is we have this thing called the Dream Map. So what that is just a virtual sort of board where I have these little index cards that are a little cut off that the players are going to write down a goal for the game. And they're going to put on these cards, and then we're going to be able to put it on the map so everyone can see it just like they're at the table. So the first thing we do in Dreamchaser is we ask every player to think of at least one idea, if not two or three, of what the goal of our game could be. So how do you do that? You just write a short sentence. You can actually do it in Roll20 on the cards if you want to. Or, of course, you could do it on a piece of paper in front of you. But you just want something short. These sentences are usually things like capture the flag, save the princess, dethrone dethrone the turtle? Like,
The pet turtle named Philip.
Dethrone Philip.
yes. So go ahead and take a minute, and as you get an idea, or if you came prepared with an idea, you can just spit it out, and it lets people start to brainstorm with the idea. And
Here.
I'm going to grab... Yes.
Quit asking me questions. I'm not any better at this than you are.
Are you asking questions in the room?
So we're trying to write things down, or we're just throwing them out?
I'd like you to say them out loud for the listeners, but I'd like you, if you're able to, in Roll20, to write it on one of the cards. So obviously you can claim it. In Roll20, on the left side, you'll have these little tools. You go to the second box that has like draw shape, freehand, polygon line, and text in it, and I would click the text box, and that'll give you a little thing you could write on one of these cards with.
Uh-oh, I lost it. How do I make it? Hey, I typed it. It just went away.
And then if you do use the text thing, you can up the font to like 40 and, pick whatever color looks good for you or whatever you want to stylize it as. But depending, Jayson, if you were tech savvy and you want to do that, or if you, of course, want to use something locally, that's fine too.
Hey, mine popped up on his screen. How do I get it back? Why do I have his? I got stuck.
I'm seriously, I'm touching it and I can't get it to come up.
Brandi and Jayson are in the same place, so you'll notice there's a little back and forth that maybe is like, hey, there you go.
So just one, right?
At least one. Probably no more than two, given 4 players online.
Okay.
Oh, what the hell? Where did my second one go? Oh.
I can't. I mean, I've touched this thing and I can't get it to come up.
So a handful of examples, just to give you an idea how to frame the goals, right? The dream. Maybe you want to discover the secret of El Dorado. Maybe you want to find the meaning of life. Maybe you want to eradicate cancer. What's a good Gamerstable one, though? Maybe you want to find Dad's pants, right? Jayson, where'd you leave them?
Avenge my family.
Avenge my family.
Not scrub the intro.
I disappear. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, when you hit enter, they disappear, so I think you have to click out of them.
Eugene, what are they asking you? No washing to fold?
Yeah, that's the thing I usually do, but this
Oh, is
time
it
I
really?
have to be actively involved. Yeah, I usually use the gamers table board meetings and whatnot to fold laundry.
Oh, wow.
That's what that noise is.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But they're very productive nights.
Okay, so I see a couple, or at least 3 or 4 of them that are on that card already in the top left. Who had? You want to say your own? How about that?
Oh, he gave, that's fine.
Since I don't know which one's which.
I want to become a princess and die a heroic death.
Okay, I'm gonna just move, become a princess, and
You can move them?
yeah. And,
Fancy.
well, I'm gonna move it in a second when I remember how to move it. But usually I can
Come
move
on,
it.
Pete, you're the professional.
I know. Why should it all go well? Okay.
Oh, I found my the one that fell in the background.
Yeah, I see it.
We're such pros.
Oh, mine are the two: the dethrone my pet turtle named Philip from
Okay.
earlier today, and then stop the rain of bones.
Ooh. Why would it rain bones? That's a good one. And we had become a princess, right? Who had
That
avenge
was-
my family?
That was Jayson.
That's me.
Jayson.
Revenge my family.
And we have die a heroic death. Who said that one?
Me?
Okay, all right. So what about you, Brandon?
Mine got rode over. Mine was Meet Howard Stern.
Oh, awesome. All right. And
That's perfect.
that is really going to bug me. I've never had a problem moving them before. So if somebody's on Roll20 or someone's watching the TIS stream, you can just remind me
Where do
which
you
button
want 'em?
I should be pressing. But anyway, we'll fix that in a second. So of what we have so far, we have Become a Princess, we have Avenge My Family, we have Die a Heroic Death, Stop the Rain of Bones, Dethrone My Pet Turtle Named Philip, and what was it, Meet Howard Stern? Okay.
Yes.
We want to vote on which one is the game we want to build our story around. So each of you take a second, think of, normally we tally these cards, but until I can move them to appropriate cards, it's kind of hard to do that. So why don't you do something locally that lets you vote on which ones you like the most. And then in a minute I'll ask you, and we'll see which one you put a vote on. So we'll give each of you 2 votes. You can put them both on one of these goals or one on each. Brandi, what were you going to say?
Oh, nothing. I was trying to figure out how to vote without using the computer because
Right.
I'm not good at it. I would just like to raise my hand.
And I'm sure it's just a layering thing, so I'm going to figure that out real quick in a way that doesn't block the Twitch stream. And I wonder if I'm...
This one.
Okay.
When it's solid.
Pop filter on.
No, not right now. When it's solid, it'll.
All right, guys, I'll be right back. I'm not a GM, that's the problem.
I don't understand what's wrong with my camera.
Okay.
It's being a potato baby.
All right, I got to readjust the dream map here on the Twitch stream, but that's all it was. I was logged in as a player. So,
Wow.
narrow this down. We'll make it a little bit bigger.
Oh, nice. Our D20 chat, Roll20 chat of an aptitude is transmitted to everybody. That's good.
Gotta love live gameplay. At least we spread the technical difficulties for the most part. Okay, so I got the stuff on the board. It's a little tiny for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and move that around, put that in cards. In the meantime, Brandon, what did you vote on?
I didn't vote.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm going to move.
do you want to?
Which two or which one of these goals is your favorite?
Avenge my family.
Okay.
Of course.
Because I love Jayson.
Gross.
And die a heroic death.
And this was actually both of Philip's. And we had Meet Howard Stern. We'll leave that up there, and we'll put Brandy's on this one.
Can we vote for ourselves, or is that rude?
No, go for it. So, Brandon, you said which one? Which two of them?
Avenge My Family and Die a Heroic Death.
Okay. Avenge My Family, Die a Heroic Death. And what about Brandi?
I want to meet Howard Stern and die a heroic death.
All right. And Eugene?
I want to stop the rain of bones and die heroic death, so I think we'll be dying heroic death.
All right, well, good to know. And Jayson, last but not least.
I also want to die a heroic death, but in doing so, stop the rain of bones.
All right.
And avenge my family while meeting Howard Stern.
Okay. So, with a goal in mind, we want die a heroic death to be our key thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this card up real quick. And I'm going to move Become a Princess. Still totally possible, just not on this card anymore. Okay. So, die heroic death, just put that guy over there where it needs to be, is our dream. That's the goal of our game. So we're building a story around that idea. So the second thing you do in a Dreamchaser game is you come up with an idea who you want to be, now that we know what the story's about. So, at its bare bones, this is a story about death, tragedy maybe. I don't know, maybe comedy. But who would you want to be in a story about dying a heroic death? So, for example, I know Eugene and Jayson, you both mentioned there might be a rain of bones still. If that's the case, maybe that's how you start to frame what kind of death you would have in that story, whether it was you or someone else. But you come up with a role, and all the role is 2 or 3 words that kind of say who you would want to be, like maybe a pudgy fighter or a reckless astronaut. But it's got to have at least one word that kind of describes what kind of a character it is.
Can I be a dragon-slaying princess?
You sure can.
Damn.
Uh,
A pudgy astronaut.
So do I just tell you, Pete? Is that what you want me to do?
Sure.
Okay. Wasteland Road Warrior.
What does that mean?
Wasteland
Right in the title.
Road Warrior. And Brandi, what did you say? You said dragon slaying.
Dragon-slaying princess.
If you had to give one word to like what kind of personality that person is, what would you say?
Oh, I was gonna say boss-ass bitch, but that's more than one word.
That's good enough. I'll just put boss in parentheses next to it.
There you go. That'll work. Ass bitch in the.
Eugene, Brandon, with those characters in mind, what kind of comes to your mind?
Bald fat thief.
Okay. The bold fat thief. Give me one word that kind of gives me a personality.
Snarky.
Snarky. Okay. And last but not least, Eugene. I almost said Lugene.
Eugene.
Apathetic stunt double.
Apathetic what?
Stunt double.
Stunt devil.
This is awesome.
Okay. With these in mind, I have a Wasteland Road Warrior, which I guess I left you out, right? Jayson, what's one word that kind of gives me your personality?
Crusty.
Crusty. Okay. We have a dragon-slaying princess, or the boss, right? We have a bald, fat thief, if I can read my own handwriting. That's Starkey, right? And we have an apathetic stunt devil. Okay.
Was Starkey an adjective?
I'm gonna move the camera.
As long as it's a way to describe someone, right? So, okay. Now that we have a goal for the game, characters we want to have in it, the last part of this step called the dream mapping is we find out what do you want to get out of this story. So, we're going to make these index cards just like we did for the dream, but better because we learned stuff since then. How to use Roll20. So, I'm going to move the stuff off these index cards. You're going to write a goal on one of them for yourself that's going to become a chapter goal in our story. So what's the reason you wanted to be the crusty wasteland road warrior? Maybe you wanted to blow up a car. Why did you want to be the dragon slaying princess? Probably because you wanted to slay a dragon or become the princess or free someone, or maybe you just wanted to put a pretty collar on a dragon. I don't, but this is your chance to say.
I want to dazzle dragons.
Right, awesome. This is your chance to make something in the story that has to happen. Okay. And I want you to write these on the cards. So I'm going to just go ahead and move some of these, like avenge my family, dethrone my pet turtle, stop the rain of bones, meet Howard Stern. But I removed those. There's nothing stopping you from actually putting that back into the game as your milestone. It'd be a really funny one if it was meet Howard Stern, right? It's like the interview you did with Howard Stern after, or about the guy who died. I don't know. And I totally screwed someone over there. I deleted the card when you wrote on it.
He wanted to play with the serious cast members, and he got stuck with us three, and he's like, well, shit, this is not what I signed up for.
I did want to apologize that you got to be team.
Who wanted to play with a serious cast member?
I like to think that's the best thing about the game, is the game kind of fits whatever your group's niche is. If you guys are silly and wacky and all over the place, then that's what the game is. If you're hardcore investigators who want something dramatic and gritty, that's what the game is. So we got Jump the Ravine so far. I'm going to go ahead and just slide this over one of these milestones. Not that that's the place for it yet, but just to get that convenient.
I don't know what I want.
So we know in Die a Heroic Death that we have a crusty wasteland road warrior, a boss dragon-slaying princess, a bald fat thief that's Starky, and an apathetic stunt devil. Someone's going to die a heroic death, and so far we know there's going to be a ravine that gets jumped.
Okay. I lost the thingy again.
It's really impressive that we can watch Jayson chewing the gum, but we can't hear it. It's like some kind of mind-bending trick that he's doing over there.
Don't you dare put that under my desk. I'll kill you. Get out of here.
Okay, I typed something, but it disappeared.
No, it's,
Steal a Super Bowl ring?
Nope, not me.
That was me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I knew that was Brandon.
I know.
I'm going to slot that right over one of these cards up here. It might have gone underneath something.
I see it.
Did I lose it? I'm so bad at this. Where did it go?
There you go. Kill the queen and become the only ruler of the kingdom.
I don't need no man.
Okay, do I hit enter?
Yes.
No.
Enter might delete it, actually.
If you hit enter, I think it goes to the next line and your regular line gets...
Okay, so I've typed what I want. Now what?
Click elsewhere. There you go. No, that's not you. Just click out of the text box.
I'm getting rid of the cards, too, so hopefully if it's underneath something, we'll find it.
No, I see it. It's up left.
Powered death machine?
I have a V8 powered death machine.
All right, awesome.
That would be a powered death machine.
Okay.
He's gonna claim technical difficulties and end the whole stream.
Okay, so what we got here, since all the fonts are pretty small, we got steal a Super Bowl ring, drive a V8 powered death machine, jump the ravine, and kill the queen to become the only ruler of the kingdom. Awesome. So I ask you boys and girls, which one happens first? Do we need to steal a Super Bowl ring? Do we need to jump the ravine? Do we need to drive a V8 powered death machine? Do we need to kill the queen and become the only ruler of the kingdom?
Okay, in order to do all of the things, we have to get there, and I suggest a car.
I suggest we kill my mother first, and then we just can do whatever we want. We can steal a car, jump a ravine, and steal a Super Bowl ring, because I don't give no fucks. Best ruler ever. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, I'm going to start moving in that direction. And as I do, think about it, and if you have any changes you want to make, I'll do that. But she said, well, I guess I can just move the words, right? She said, if we kill the queen and become the only ruler of the kingdom, then we could drive a V8 powered death machine.
That's our getaway car.
And jump the ravine.
We do what we want now.
And ultimately, that lets us steal the Super Bowl ring.
Somehow.
Unfortunately, the only problem is the story is actually about dying a heroic death. So what could go wrong?
My belly hurts. Laughter.
Brandon, any input?
Looks good.
All right. I can tell Brandy's happy. Eugene.
Yes.
Okay. Jayson, awesome. Okay, so in Roll20, you can go over to the right side, and there are those little tabs. And on the tabs, there's like a third one that's got like a little sheet logo. Underneath it, when you click it, there'll be characters and handouts. You'll want to click the characters, and you'll see that there's sheets with your name on it. And I am going to assign them to each of you now so that you can actually move them around and change stuff. So Brandi obviously is going to Brandi. And Brandon is going to Brandon. And Eugene is going to Eugene. And Jayson is going to Jayson. Oops, not Eugene. Okay, let me know if you have any trouble getting into those sheets.
It's working.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead, move our dream map here to our character sheet. And let's see how that looks. Oh, it's got a little tab on it, which I'll close. Okay, so, oops. Okay, so everyone's got their character sheet. You'll see that for you guys, you're going to see to the right of all of the boxes, there's these little dice logos. They're going to help you click them to roll dice in the game later. But for now, you're going to be able to click into the sheets and start filling them out. So as I see it, let me make sure everything's showing. Good. Up at the top left, there's this bubble that says number 1 and says our dream. And in there you want to write that our dream is that we wanted to die a heroic death. And then when you're done with that, you go on to step 2 to the right. And you can sum it up, but you know what she told me, like the dragon slaying princess and the crusty wasteland road warrior. I'm going to clean this sheet up for myself. Jayson is one crusty.
He is pretty crusty. I'm sitting next to him, and he's playing himself tonight, folks. Love you, Jay.
Road warrior. Okay.
Are the milestones the ones we came up with?
Yep, just the ones you came up with. So, and you can sum it up again. We just need to make sure we remember whose is whose. Let me know if you need me to tell you, because I know I moved the screen out of your way. So.
We just put ours under milestone 1.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay.
So die a heroic death again and become a princess?
Yeah, right?
Nailed it! I've already won the game.
It wasn't our number 2, was it?
I think these are ours, right?
Yeah. Jayson, you just want to put the one that was your milestone, the thing you made up.
I don't want to be a princess. Meh.
So what was mine?
You had to drive a V8.
Drive a V8
Yeah,
powered
Death machine.
Where are you going to get that much tomato juice?
It's so fitting that Jayson forgot his.
What did he forget?
He forgot his own milestone.
It was drink some V8.
Oh, I could have had a V8. Sorry, Toju.
Okay. When you guys are done with that, we get to the first thing that we haven't talked about yet, is you'll get to number 4, right? Which is this section here. The left side of the tags is where you're going to write 3 of these. They're just ways to describe your character. So, for example, you already told me some stuff. If you want, like, Krusty for the Wasteland Road Warrior to be important, something that the game is going to help you be better at being a crusty old fart, for example, then you could write Krusty here. If you thought you wanted to be a Wasteland Road Warrior because you wanted to be, dark and brooding, or, you wanted to be dirty and rough or rugged, any of these things would be ways to describe that character, and you'd write them down in these tag slots. You get 3 of them. So when you roll the dice in the game and you fail at something, if you can explain to me why being, for example, rugged would help you in that situation, if I buy what you're telling me, you can re-roll. So the game is going to help you with these things, even if they're normally bad. Like you could say, well, I'm overweight, or I'm obese, or I'm ugly as sin, but you're going to describe how that helps you in a situation. So
How'd you do that?
You have to click in the mouse and then pull down on the trackpad. Jayson doesn't know how to scroll, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. Do you want to make it bigger for you?
That's what she said.
Well done, Jayson.
And Brandi, you mentioned like being a boss ass bitch, so that's like a perfect tag, right?
Can I put ass bitch on here? We're gonna get banned, boss ass. Do you want it more PG-13? I can be a boss booty bitch if that's better. I'll censor for you. Oh, wait, I censored ass and not bitch.
Just use $$.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I spelled it wrong.
Brandon, like you had stuff that said Starkey, but you said bold, fat. But you may also want something, why are you a thief? Are you like conniving or scheming, or are you stealthy? Are you a good sneak? Do you look average? These could all be things that might help you.
So can I be like manipulative?
You sure can.
Aw, thanks.
You absolutely can.
Shut up, Brandi.
Like, that's your thing.
Shut up.
Brandon.
And we're picking 3 of the tags?
Yeah, sure.
How's that?
You need 3.
I think I got 3.
Oh, crusty, thirsty, and brooding. All right.
Awesome. Anybody struggling with any of these, or?
I need another one.
Okay. What you got so far?
I'm here.
Boss, booty, bitch, and manipulative, because evidently I could only censor one word.
Okay, so those are 2 things about your personality. Is there anything about you physically? Like, are you tall or slender? Or
gorgeous, P, obviously. Gosh, you have to ask.
You might have an evil eye,
one lazy eye.
You might have a lazy eye. There you go.
She has one lazy eye.
Not funny.
Oh, Brandon. Oh, sorry. How about sparkly? Ooh, I like that. I sparkle. Sorry, Brandon. I'll get rid of the lazy eye and I'll sparkle.
Okay, so it sounds like after that, you can move on to strategies. So we're just following these numbers right along. In that strategy box, you'll see that it says legend, the best, expert, skilled, beginner. The numbers to the right of them show you how good you're at them. So the higher number, the better. You get to come up with 3 of these, and these are going to be the ways that you solve all of your problems. So there's 2 boxes in front of each label. So you could have 2 at one of these labels and then 1 at a different one, or any mix match you want. So I don't care if you have 2 of the best or 2 of the beginner. You just got to have 3 between beginner and the best, but nothing at legend. And
what a tease, Pete. What a tease.
You got to become legendary in this story.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay.
So with strategies, one of the reasons why I don't want to give you a list of 20, right, and make the Savage Worlds where everyone has stealth and fighting and marksmanship or guns or whatever it is. What's cool here is that you can word these in any way that
had another mouse for you.
make them matter to you. So maybe you're a linguist. Maybe you are the best with dark pacts. Maybe you have an accent. Maybe that's how you help people. Maybe that's how you seduce people, or how you also make them think that you have no idea what they're talking about. Maybe you watch a lot of TV shows, and you can use that to inspire yourself or inspire others, or say the right thing. Maybe you are a heart surgeon, and you can perform heart surgery. It'll be really interesting when you try to apply that ability towards other things, being so specific at one. Parkour, maybe you have voices in your head that tell you to do things. Maybe you have like a rocket arm or a jetpack, and you fight by boosting yourself with a jetpack and putting your fist in the way of your opponent. So this is an opportunity for you to come up with anything from skills, knowledges, magic, reputation, superpowers. I know, Jayson, you mentioned something about like being a road warrior. You might want driving, or you might even just want like, your vehicle. Maybe you have one special car.
Is that where you want it? Okay.
And again, what's the distribution of these? So
You get 3 of them, Eugene. You can put them in any box that's not Legend. And as you can see, there's kind of 2 boxes per label.
okay. They gotta actually pay attention to what I'm saying.
Yeah, so Eugene, I mean, you could have, obviously stunts. You could have daredevil. You could have risk-taking, risk management.
Okay,
It could be acting for you.
Are these things we're like good at, or like we get bonuses or something like that? Like these are supposed to be things we're decent at, right?
They're going to be, yeah, even if they're bad, right? You might have like mooching or cheapskating or being a bumbling idiot, but there are the ways you will be successful with those, even if they're bad things. Like we've had someone who took he had taking damage, so he couldn't succeed at anything without hurting himself. So he always had to explain how it hurt him to do what he needed. So he famously swapped backpacks with a higher-ranking soldier that had explosives in it, and he did that by running into the guy, breaking his nose, causing a big scene as he bled all over the guy. And as people came over to help him, he switched backpacks with the guy. But he did that by taking damage.
I need one I'm not good at, but I'm good at. I'm gonna make it a good thing. I don't want to be awesome.
Maybe you want
Everything.
show tunes. You want a princess.
I had yodeling here at first, but I'm afraid you'll try to make me yodel, and I'm not about that life.
Hey, I won't make you do it if you'll still take it.
All right, I don't even know how to yodel. Okay, nailed it. No,
That's not it. That is not it.
Okay. No. Nope, can't yodel.
Now, as you come up with these, just go ahead and spam out loud.
Okay, I got drinking, yodeling, and dance fighting.
Awesome. All right, cool.
Oh.
I got hold my beer and watch this, and too old for this shit. And I can fix this.
Shit.
I feel like every time you tell me to hold your beer, I drink it. And you just get really pissed off about it.
I come back after I'm done. It's like, what the where's my beer?
Somebody in Twitch just sent us 3 images, but they're what are they, emotes that I don't know what they are. They were red pigs?
They're like domos, but not domos.
Domos, okay.
But I don't know if that's real life, because I've only ever seen a domo, I think, and he's brown.
Oh, it's Meat Boy!
Yeah, it's super
That's a
Meat
meat boy!
What's a Meat Boy? It's Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy. They're
Don't know
really
what's
hard. I got
Hi, Pete.
I got sports trivia, cowardly, and parkour because it's literally the only thing I'm good at.
Awesome.
I see what you
Sports
did there.
trivia.
Parkour.
Gross.
All right, I've got futuristic Jeep.
Cool.
That's the best. I'm also the best survivor, and I'm an expert driver.
Awesome. Okay. So, Eugene, you said yours. Brandi, you said... Okay, we're good to go. Cowardly and sports trivia are great. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Lol, I was a great... Oh, of course you were. Soul skills. Okay, so when you go to roll stuff in the game, you're going to use one of your strategies that you came up with, and I'm going to tell you whether that's an imaginative use of it or a reasonable use of it. Generally, kind of how that works is just that, like, if it's a real creative use of what you're saying, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's a stretch. If it's something that just makes sense, you've done it probably 100 times like that, it's like routine knowledge, that's a reasonable use of it. So you have these two imaginaries on your sheet. You're going to assign them a number from 1 to 10, and you have 10 points between the two of them. So you could have 2 5s. That's generally what I recommend to new people. But someone like Eugene, like the 3 that you made up could be very powerful. If they're always probably going to be like, because you made up like mottos, right? So those are usually going to be a stretch. A reasonable use of those would be like saying them to somebody and making that impactful, right? But a stretch would be using that philosophy in some wild and crazy idea. So you might want to lean a little more imagine than reason, but that's up to you completely. If, for example, Brandon wants to use sports trivia to actually talk about, hey, football players, Super Bowl rings, things that are just, common knowledge. But if he uses sports trivia to try to, like, convince the president not to nuke another country by explaining different sorts of, like, things that have happened in over history, how that never worked, and it was like this cyclical problem that just kept destroying itself, that would be probably a pretty creative use of sports trivia, and that'd be an imaginative use. So
Huge.
Okay. Anybody need any more help with that? Okay, cool.
I went 5 and 5 because you told me to, and you might know something about this game. Probably.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Okay. Next thing, we go to health. So a couple times in this story, there's going to be times that are going to be very dramatic. A lot like having a combat in a game, or in Dreamchaser, it can be anything that's dramatic. Maybe it's a pivotal conversation, a threat, or maybe jumping the ravine, right? With the wrong vehicle, like a go-kart. So in those cases, you can be removed from the situation. Maybe because you're outsmarted, you're demoralized, or you're beat up. That's what health is. So each one of these is going to get a number from 1 to 10. You have 12 points. If your character is going to try to outsmart his way through problems, you probably want a little more mind. If you're a physical person, that's a no-brainer, right? A little more body. If you're a person that's going to talk your way through things, manipulate your way through things, you want a little more spirit. So if you can't decide, you probably want 4, 4, and 4. If you can decide, because one's a little more clear, bump that up to 5 or 6 or something.
Whoa.
Okay. Anybody have any issues with that? Brandon, what are your health scores?
5 mind, 2 body, 5 spirit.
Okay, Brandi?
5 body, 3 mind, and what do I got total?
So that's 8. You got 4 more.
Okay, and then I guess 4 spirit.
Okay.
Did
Eugene.
you take math? It's one of your strategies.
I was trying to help Jayson, alright? You guys don't know what it's like to be in a room with Grandpa here.
I'm same as Brandi, actually. 3 mind, 5 body, 4 spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, suck it, guys.
And Jayson.
2 mind, 6 body, Force spirit.
Why do you gotta up me on the body?
All right. Okay, so moving right along, you have relationships. Relationships, you see these different tags and labels on them. These are the people, places, and things that you want to have that are important in the story. This is a one-shot, so I can't say that we'll touch base on all of them, but we're going to try. This is your way of telling me, the game master, like, hey, I want these in the game. So you're going to get 2 of these. One of these is going to be another player, and one of them is going to be anything you want. You can assign if it's a true love relationship, if it's intimate, if it's casual, if it's close, if it's a contact. The tag part is just telling me why is it valuable to your character. And you'll be able to use that just like the other tags in the game. Like if you had a lawyer, obviously the tag could be legal advice. Or, sticks up for me. Or does my talking. If it's your mom, it could be she feeds me, she, gives me a place to be, she loves me, any of these things. But for some reason you want your mom in the story, With the other characters, you don't know their names yet. So you're going to say stuff like, I know the road warrior because he's my driver. Or he beats people up, he's my muscle. I know the princess because, I'm I look up to her. Or, I'm a leech,
Can my true love be a prince whose name was Philip, but he got turned into a turtle?
It sure can, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you would just put under true love, you'd put Philip, and then under tags. So why is that person valuable to you?
I can still talk to him, but no one knows. So I have this secretive talking turtle, and I can just release him into the wild. He gets there slowly, but he can eavesdrop for me.
Okay, so he eavesdrops for you. You could put eavesdrops, That prince feels really neglected. He's a prince. He didn't become a prince or frog so he could eavesdrop for you, okay?
He should be so lucky to be with Phil. He's a damn turtle.
Now, what's good about this, too, is that when you pick, let's say, true love, like you said with the prince, you could say maybe the prince true loves you, and obviously you're just manipulating him because you're using him to eavesdrop.
Of course.
So it's totally up to you if it's reciprocal or if it's one-way facing. Because, like, with the other players, Jayson might say that, Brandi is the boss, and Eugene might say that she's a bitch. So, like, it doesn't have to be reciprocal, so.
Eugene! Don't look at that.
Okay, when you come up with them, just say them out loud.
We have a close relationship with the Road Warrior because our love of cars.
Nice. Somebody also liked that, I guess. Scruff the magic dragon.
Back your branch, yeah.
Yeah.
The 3 healths of Dreamcaster are now. I don't know what that means, but it sounds really awesome. Okay.
What's everyone again? You're a crusty old man.
Boss.
Brandon's a fat, bald man.
Yeah, use like the keyword, right? So like, what was it? Eugene was the stunt devil, right? Jayson was the road warrior, and Brandon was the thief.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, what did I do?
I know the road warrior. Is that Jayson?
Yep. I'm gonna move this on back.
Because he's my valet. Or whatever that... What's the guy that drives you around? What's that guy called?
Chauffeur?
Chauffeur! There we go!
Chauffeur. Awesome.
I can't spell anything, so I just have to hope that autocorrect fixes it. I got it.
Okay. I threw the dream map back up. Let's see if I can make these fonts bigger for you guys. They are tiny.
Mike's on it. We're calling in reinforcements so Jayson can have a mouse because he's having a hard time navigating.
This is my son's Chromebook, and I think it might be busted because I can't get.
Thinking to buy me.
You get it to scroll. Watch.
Yeah, I get to do the weird. Which middle? What are your relationships, Jayson?
I don't know. I can't see that part because I can't get it to scroll down. How'd you do that?
I've been doing it the whole time for you. Just type in your relationships. There you go.
True love, the queen.
The queen.
Gross! You're diddling my mom. She's a stepmom anyway, and everyone knows they're the worst.
No, my true love is dead.
Ooh.
Does your true love have a name? Penelope?
No.
Pierpont?
No.
Pete Patricia?
Dang.
Petunia.
Petunia.
I can't get it. There we go. This thing is slow as fuck. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, this
Are we
is
not supposed to curse on this
no,
thing?
this is a PG-13 stream.
That's our one.
Petunia tags. Dead. Oh, damn it.
Okay.
Alright, I think I'm good.
Die a heroic death. And heroic death. Okay. Alright, that looks a lot more visible. Okay. So, alright, one more time. So, Brandon, who do you have for your relationships?
I have a casual relationship with the Road Warrior. He's hired muscle.
Okay. Road Warrior is hired muscle. Okay. Who else?
Go on. I'll get back to that.
Okay. Eugene, what you got?
I got a close relationship with the Road Warrior because of our love of cars.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And close relationship with Dr. Zed because he patches me up.
Dr. Zed. Patches. All right, Brandi, what you got?
My true love is a cursed turtle prince named Philip. And my contact is a chauffeur road warrior.
Okay. And Jayson, what you got?
I have a close relationship with the stunt double because he might actually be my twin brother.
Oh, of course he is.
No,
In
Jayson.
true Jayson form, of course he is.
Somewhere Eric is rolling in his grave, right?
Hope so.
Wait, Eric's dead?
When were you gonna tell us?
So the stunt devil is or might be your twin brother.
I don't know, Pete. You tell me.
All right, good answer. Okay, and what else do you have?
I have a casual relationship with the short, bald thief. Mostly because I want to keep an eye on him and make sure he doesn't steal my shit.
Okay.
Stuff.
You can curse. I've been doing it the entire time. It says bitch on my character sheet.
Okay. All right, great. Brandon, when you think of yours, just tell me.
I got one.
Cool.
I have a close relationship with Rick Harrison. It's where I pawn all my stuff.
So we're in Vegas.
You said Rick Harrison?
Yeah, Rick Harrison.
And is that a store or a person?
That's a person.
I got you.
He smells what you're stepping in.
I steal even $40,000 worth of stuff, and he's like, I can give you $3 for it.
Okay. All right. Pretty much last but not least, you got belongings. So these are the things that I would have to question whether your character had. Like, if you have the Book of the Dead, I'm like, okay, why? How? Well, you don't have to explain it if you put under your belongings. So come up with at least one iconic or interesting thing for your character. You can come up with up to 3, but don't worry about mundane stuff unless it's something cool.
Where is this? I'm blind.
In the bottom right under a relationship.
Okay, I found it.
Number 9.
Do you want me to scroll for you, Grandpa?
Everyone do Book of the Dead. Yeah, everyone. Then we got 4 different translations, right?
Can I have a Book of the Dead? Is that a thing we can have?
Yeah, 100%. You know, we've had people who had like a $20 million blind trust, you know, like a pet Gaiju, like a pet Godzilla.
Can I have a fairy godmother? Does that count as a thing?
We've had a talking cat, yeah.
I've already got a turtle husband or fiance. So.
We know there's a queen. You know, there could be something related to the queen. Encyclopedia of the Dead. Yeah, you each have a chapter, right?
Yes. I have the Book of the Dead, and I can...
Oh, shit. We're going to plug this thing in.
In the... It only has one USB port. That can't be real life.
There's one on this side.
Okay. Book of the Dead.
Ugh. Oh, my God. What is that?
It's Mike. It's...
Mouse boogers.
It's Krusty! Show everyone you're Krusty!
Mike's mouse.
Told you guys he was crusty. Okay,
The bottoms get crusty. That's just how it is.
Okay, Book of the Dead.
Can I move some of this stuff?
Oh, yeah. What's everyone choosing?
Oh, look, a mouse
The
and it
vagina.
scrolls.
The vagina monologues.
Poor Jayson. Like, I feel like you've had an hour of technical issues.
Just all technical issues.
He's a walking technical
It's a
issue.
walking technical issue.
Yeah, there you go. Hope you don't have a technical issue with your
Great,
pacemaker.
now we're getting banned for titties on Twitch.
No, it's my battery in my chest.
Let's see. Does anyone have any that might spark some ideas in my head?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, you want us to make it up for you?
No, I want to know what you guys are going with, and then I'm going to do something cooler. Obviously.
Obviously.
So far, I got a Nitro Boost kit and a parachute.
So far, I have the Wu-Tang Clan's gold album.
Yes.
Nice.
I have an invisibility cloak.
You sure can.
You look
No, you
bad.
can't.
Why?
I have a
Did you
mutton
say
named-
gold album?
Yes, a gold album from the Wu-Tang Clan. Yes,
Is that album that douche Martin Shkreli owns?
that's what the inspiration was, Jayson. Yes.
I have a mutt named Bone.
Not platinum, chat says, Brandon.
No, not platinum.
Jayson, you have a mutt named what? Bone?
Bone.
That's a
That might be the
terrible
rank
name.
of Bones. It might be Bone just shitting all over everything.
Oh, that's the runs of Bone.
And I have a bat. I have a
All right,
bad.
my third item is a stim.
I have a badass futuristic looking knife.
My third item is a stim pack.
Awesome, okay. So, Eugene has a stim pack. What was your other two? Eugene?
Nitro Boost kit and the parachute.
Nitro Boost Kit.
Actually, I'll make that a parachute a glider. Like one of those, little collapsible gliders.
Oh, I heard lighter. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's a parachute that also lights things. Lighter.
Something
Oh,
cool.
flamethrower, that's a good idea.
Brandi, did you come up with any?
No, just the invisibility cloak
Thank you, sir.
and the Book of the Dead that you told me I can have. And I'm
Okay.
totally excited about it.
Invis cloak?
You need to have an ever-blooming rose.
Ooh. Who said that?
I said Brandi needs one,
Oh.
just because.
Brandi, would you like an ever-blooming rose? Oh, there you go. Boss
Sorry, I
ass
was muted.
boots.
I was excited. Yes, I would. Does that mean I'm cursed and you're gonna slowly turn me into a beast? So
Hey,
beautiful.
Pete.
Yeah.
My knife is made of adamantium.
Okay.
Hello, you want a helicopter? Chat says. What is on your nose? Please tell me it's not your gum.
It's my gum.
Oh,
He's crusty. Next time someone else gets to babysit Jayson.
I put it in my ear earlier.
oh my God. Okay. Eugene, I got yours. Brandon, I heard Gold Album from the Wu-Tang Clan. Did you have other ones?
No, creativity's not my strong suit. I got one. I'm pretty happy with that.
You're happy. That's great.
Lockpick.
And Brandi, you had
I've got
the
Book of
Invis
the
Book, the
Dead.
Book of the Dead,
Book of Invisibility and an Ever-Blooming Rose.
Ever-Blooming Rose. Okay. And last but not least, Jayson, I got a mutt named Bone, not a bone named Mutt. And we have your adamantium knife.
Yeah, and I also have a gun that can do anything. No, I mean it's you can modify the gun to shoot like long range or up close. Yeah.
I have a gun that can make pancakes.
Is that a thing?
Can it shoot more guns?
Gun.
That's like the coolest anime thing I ever heard of. Like the guy pulls out one gun, shoots it, and like 90 guns pop out and all shoot you. Awesome. Okay. Think about a name for your character. Besides that, I want each of you to roll a little button on your sheet called a vision roll.
What?
Where's that?
Button on the sheet called Division Roll. I think I clicked it.
You
I
did.
got cataract.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Eugene, can you tell us where it is on the sheet?
It's right above the Dreamcaster logo, Soul Skill, number 6.
Okay. Does that help, Brandi?
Below numbers.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Awesome. And we just need Jayson.
What?
You're gonna hit above. Yeah, right below 6 there.
I don't think I got any feedback that it got clicked, but oh well.
I see it.
Those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all in the little chat on the right side. Okay,
Just do
cool. So the vision roll is the only unique roll in the game, which rolls a D10 under your imagine and a D10 under your reason. And you want to get 2 scores that are both under those numbers. Those are successes. So when I look down the line, I see that Brandon had 1 success with his 3 that's under a 5 imagine, but not the 10 under 5 reason. And then Eugene got no successes, and Brandi got 1 success, and Jayson got 1 success. Okay. Yeah, that was really weird. The first Jayson roll didn't have the things to compare it to. I've never seen that before. Okay. So what I do with this is I go around in a circle, and we start with the person who had 0 successes, and then we go to the 1s and the 2s, and you all get a chance to kind of introduce stuff that might be in the story, possible problems and things that kind of help us get started. One of the reasons we can kind of flow into this right away. So the story is about dying a heroic death. The first chapter in that story is killing the queen to become the only ruler of the kingdom. So, did anybody have 0 successes? I think everyone had 1 or 2. No, Eugene had 0. So Eugene, I got 2 questions for you.
Oh, I thought I had 1. No, versus 6 imagine. I see what you mean. Okay, yep.
So Eugene, first of all,
Yes.
we need to kill the queen to become the only ruler of the kingdom. What's stopping us? So as a player, you could spit out the first thing that comes to your mind. You could think about it for a second and come up with some little reason or some great reason. Totally up to you. What's one thing that could be stopping us from killing the queen to become the only ruler of the kingdom?
She's away at the moment.
She's away. Okay. Not around. Now, thinking about your character, if your character had to deal with killing the queen for some reason, so that you could either become or help someone become the only ruler of the kingdom, looking at your strategies and your relationships and your belongings, what do you think your character would try to do to kill the queen, even if she's not around? Somebody said she's on a kick-ass vacation. Being queen is hard.
Twitch is too distracting. I'm going to have to stay off.
Right.
That
So if we had to kill the queen, specifically your character had to help with that. So, but she's not here right now. What would your character try to do to help accomplish that?
Mine?
Yes.
I would probably talk to Dr. Zed
Okay.
about hooking out some malicious meds.
Ooh, malicious meds. Okay. All right. Moving right along. So Eugene had no successes. Everybody who gives a response is going to get a tag that's temporary. We call that your vision tag. It's a little thing to kind of give you some benefit of what you said if it kind of comes to happen. So you said that you would find Dr. Zed and get malicious meds to help with the problem. So since you had 0 successes, I'm going to give you the tag. So I think that you would be, I'm just going to go with malicious. So on your tags, go ahead and add malicious. Okay.
No, I have to spell it.
Eugene has just started opening things from my Dreamchaser box. Not his, just mine.
Okay. After Eugene, we would go to the first person who had 1 success, which I think is Brandon. So Brandon, you heard what Eugene said. You could piggyback on it, or you can go in your own direction. But the question is, we have to kill the queen to become the only ruler of the kingdom. What's stopping us?
Morality?
Morality. And if your character had to deal with trying to change people's morality or change the situation so it was moral, what would your character maybe do?
Well, anything is moral for the right amount of money.
Okay. I would get paid to do it.
That's right.
Okay. Now, he had 1 success. So, for Eugene, Brandi, and Jayson, what kind of a character would question the morality of killing someone, but then ignore the morality if they were getting paid?
My kind of man. Someone I could work with.
So think of like words that describe that person.
I don't know. Sociopath?
Sociopath?
So,
No.
No?
That's not right. No. Ruthless, opportunist, greedy.
There you go.
I'm
Opportunist.
totally not stealing these.
Good.
They're all from my own head and not off of Twitch chat at all.
Brandon, go ahead and take opportunist. Okay, moving right along. So, you're my boy or girl. It's very PC of you. Let's see. So, Brandi had 1 success. You were next in line. So, Brandi, you heard that maybe the queen's not around, so we could concoct some malicious medicines for when she returns. You heard that, morality is a problem, but not at a price. What do you think's stopping us from killing the queen to become the only ruler of the kingdom?
What's stopping me?
Stopping us
Oh,
as a player, like story-wise.
Oh, okay. She is heavily guarded, and she knows that I hate her guts.
Okay, so she's guarded from the princess, right?
Yes.
She knows she's protected from you because she thinks that you are up to no good.
Exactly.
Okay. If you knew that, if your character knew that, how would your character try to get past her being guarded to kill her and become the only ruler?
I'm slowly trying to manipulate and sway her guard from her because, let's face it, I'm younger, therefore way hotter. And I can outdrink all these guys, so I'm just going to put them under the table and then get her once they're passed out.
Okay. Obviously. All right. So everyone else heard what she just said. You can, let that sink in because you all know her in real life. Well, I don't know about Eugene, but she's Jayson. I'm sorry for you right now. She's like right by you, actually.
And I'm gonna dance fight him right in the face.
What kind of a character would, knowing that the queen was protected, would, Brandi? How would you summarize what you just said? Right? You would you would seduce the guards, or you would manipulate the protection. What kind of a person would do that? Brandon, Eugene, Jayson? It's like she has planned this before.
You guys don't even know what she's like to live with.
What kind of person would go to the lengths of...
Are you guys waiting for Prance to say it in Twitch
A
chat?
resourceful person.
I closed Twitch. It's too... yeah, I can't take it.
Usurper.
Okay, usurper.
Okay.
These hoes ain't loyal.
Okay, we got 2 out of the 3. Hey, Brandi, write down usurper. A usurper.
Where does it go?
It goes under your tags. It should be the right column, but it's not that big of a deal. Short game.
I can't wait to watch her try to type.
Tags. Okay, so like sparkly skin.
I can't wait to watch her type usurper.
Jayson, the best part is when you do that, like we only see your neck. So
right?
It looks like you're like way up in her business when you're doing that.
I think I did it without that ABC thing that pops up in the red line. What's it called?
She did it.
What's it called? Spell check.
Okay. Last but not least, going to Jayson. Jayson, you got 1 success. You've heard what everyone else has said, so you can piggyback or you can come up with your own thing. But what's stopping us from killing the queen to become the only ruler of the kingdom?
What's stopping us?
Yep. What's stopping us?
At this point, I think the best way to kill her would be for me to run her down in one of her parades.
So, basically, what you're telling me is we need to wait for a parade?
Yeah.
Okay, what's stopping us? There's no parade today. Okay.
Isn't that like a daily thing?
It might be. It's okay. We need a parade.
I have this image in my head of, what the hell's her name? Tina Turner. She's the queen, right?
I love it. I love the big hair. I think of the older version of her.
Furiosa?
The paraders are on strike. Furiosa.
I think we're all playing different games. I think that's the problem.
I think that's the beauty of Dreamchaser. It just meshes into one beautiful story. That's what I'm looking for.
I think the only thing stopping us at this point is opportunity.
Opportunity. You could keep the parade. That's fine.
Okay.
And if you needed to wait for a parade or to make a parade happen, how would you do that? How would your character do that? So look at your relationships, your belongings, your strategies.
You know me.
Oh, I know the princess. We could probably manipulate our way into a parade.
A welcome home parade after the vacation.
Hey, there's Aiden.
Aw, that was cute. Hi, Aiden.
Hi, Aiden.
Okay. So, no... Sorry, I missed the cute moment. You know the princess. Okay. So, what we heard from Jayson, since he had 1 success, Brandon, Eugene, and Brandi, think of what kind of a person would wait for a parade to kill the queen?
Plotting?
Calculated person.
Yeah, I was going to say opportunist again, but I was like, oh, he did that already.
Calculating sounds good.
A Shriner? A lazy person? Okay, I'm sorry. What did you guys say? I was, listening to everyone on Twitch too. So, Brandon, what did you think? Or Eugene, did you say it?
I said calculated.
I think calculating it.
Okay, let's say calculating. So, Jayson, write down calculating.
It's a good one. You put it under your tags.
In the right column.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, in the right?
Right
Oh, those are negative tags. You're telling me usurper is a negative tag?
If you put in the right column, those are all the temporary ones. So, they're either bad or they're temporary.
Okay.
So, you're cool there. Okay. We're all set, ready to play. Do you guys need 5 minutes, or are you ready to get started?
I got a potty.
Yeah, go for it. We'll take 5. So my class is 8:20, so 8:25-ish. Anyway, I'll hit the AFK screen and we'll be back in a few. So we are away from keyboard. They can hear us, but they can't see you. Just for the players, so you know.
Us. Sorry, I muted us. Brandon's been trying to talk to, or yeah, Jayson's been trying to talk to Brandon the entire time.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Jayson.
How you doing, buddy?
Can you
all right.
guys knock it off?
I heard I missed you at work today.
Yeah, you did. I was there because I had to pay for a fine I had, and then I stopped in the workplace and saw Mike sitting at his desk. It was so exciting.
Look at Mikey. He's growing up right before
You know
our
what the
eyes.
cute thing was today?
What?
He didn't know he was getting dental insurance.
Aw, and he was so
So
excited.
I told him that when you get your dental insurance,
Aw.
he goes, I get dental? And I said, yeah. He's like, really? And I said, yeah. I said, I need you to get your teeth fixed.
I need you to get your. Well, it was sweet for a minute.
Well, I want him to get his. I wanted him to get his teeth fixed forever. He just couldn't afford to.
Yeah, I know that shit sucks. It took me forever to get my teeth fixed. Some of them.
So anyway, I went into your office, and that ball buster put me to work immediately.
Evan, you mean?
Yeah.
You mean you just came to visit and she made you do stuff?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So I paid $40 to the county for processing fees, and then I worked for free. I should have charged you guys $40 for that, which is a deal, since I get $80 an hour.
Okay. Well, right on cue. Everyone's back. Let's kick it back over.
Might have been a little late, Pete. I'm not sure, but
I changed the camera angle to have 100% less 5-head.
The cams were off, but the mics were on.
I know.
Hear that, Pete?
I told you that.
Eric can hear us.
I literally said
I didn't know that.
I'm turning the mic back on. The internet can hear you.
Oh, well. Sorry, buddy.
Let's face it. This isn't the worst thing that's ever happened. On the internet, right? Okay. So, our story begins. Does anybody have a favorite state that they would like to just go rogue in the United States? And just spit it out if you...
Nevada.
We're just saying random states.
Did you say Vermont?
I said Utah.
Okay.
Wow, Utah's exciting.
That was literally the first state I thought of, and I don't know why.
Well, I'm thinking Wasteland.
Utah's probably as good as it gets, right?
I'm the princess of Utah.
New Mexico.
You know what's really funny? This isn't the first time a Dreamchaser game went to Utah. I don't know what it is with Utah. So, we are in some alternate version of our United States of America, where Utah has become a kingdom of its own, and is run by a queen named Madania. Queen Madania, in basically on the outside looking in, right, has slowly but surely removed all of those who could replace her from power, except for the princess. The princess, Brandi, what'd you name your character?
Someone quick shout a name. I suck at names so bad. Someone name me.
Nope.
Winona.
Why no?
Winona. I'm really bad at this.
So, Princess Winona, you are the only threat to the queen to replace her and take power of the great kingdom of Utah. So, you know what's great about this too is I wish I've been to Utah, but Utah's got these wonderful cathedrals that it's only very fitting that like someone would like replace like the Mormon church with like a kingdom, right? Because they already have the perfect buildings for like a monarchy. So there's this great church that's in Salt Lake City. I can't think of the exact name of it right offhand, but it is this beautiful, large building where she rules from. And outside is a beautiful landscaped area that has a city block around it that is where she would basically set up her parade. We're going to say that she does routine festivals probably every season. It's pretty fitting for most organizations. So we'll say it's like a spring. Does anybody have a favorite month? I was going to say spring because I'm happy it's getting sunny out, but...
Does anyone have a... I love these questions.
I mean, maybe you want it to be like icy and snowing in Utah. I don't know, but...
It's Harvest Fest in the Utah Kingdom.
Okay, Harvest Fest.
Brandon hates me.
Okay, so it's the Great Harvest Festival, which means that there's going to be a lot of displays of, you can imagine the browns and the yellows. There's going to be like leaves and autumn setups of, these basically like stands and like, what do they call this? Basically like sort of like pavilion things that are set up to like mimic fall weather. Something that's actually a little fictional for Utah, because like you said, Salt Lake City's kind of, it's got some forest, but you are close to like where it's kind of wasteland and desert. So the festival's being set up. The queen is expected to be a part of the parade. The princess, Winona, thanks to the prince, that now you are the only person who is her rightful target. Everyone else isn't keen that she's out to get everyone, but you have the prince, and he speaks to you, even though he's a frog, or turtle, sorry. So, thank you, the tabernacle, yes. So the tabernacle is the state house, right? So you're the prince, who would have been your brother, I guess.
Oh, he's my lover!
Okay, wait. Oh, even better, right? It could have been that it was your lover who got turned into the turtle. Gotcha. Okay. So
Did the queen do it?
Your lover was turned into a turtle, and he warned you that it was the queen's doing.
Yeah, because we were getting too powerful. We were a power couple.
So you're pretty sure that she has some inklings that you're on to her, but at the same point, she's already like put up protections from you. And in your case, you've already talked to the road warrior, who is your trusted muscle, to assist in making sure that she doesn't return from the Harvest Festival, which is the parade that's set up. So the Harvest Festival means that she's going to be put on some kind of a float, if it's a typical Harvest Festival.
It's a float constructed entirely of corn, Pete.
Awesome. I like the idea, too, that it's like all corn stalks, right? It's probably easily flammable. That's beautiful. So she, if everything went as planned, she would be in some sort of like autumn gown. She would be atop some sort of a throne held within corn on this float. The road warrior has been tasked with the job of removing the queen, making sure that she does not return to the tabernacle. Think for a moment on what that might mean to you. Would you kill her? Would you try to remove her? Would you try to make sure that her float got lost?
Would you seduce her and keep her away from the whatever?
Huh?
I don't know. Going back to the place. That's your thing. You love to have sex with people in cars and games.
Wow.
That was a different game.
Now, it's also worth mentioning that, Jayson, your character has the two friends, which are the thief and also the stunt devil.
Yes.
You are the mutual connection between the group here. Some of the things that you told me before were that the princess said you are the muscle, but let's see, where was it that... But Brandon said that you both have a love for cars. And Eugene said... Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Eugene that said the love for cars? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was Eugene.
Brandon said... Okay. That's the problem with this sheet that's going on here right now. So anyway, you had some connections. You should have them on your sheets. You have them at your disposal. There is also the thief. The thief we talked about in the vision rolls. You have your contact at the doctor if maybe you were having any issues of maybe not using the float. And Brandon, feel free to throw in any ideas that you might have as well. But Jayson, you were kind of in the lead at the moment of what the plan would be at the parade.
I would try to get to the Queen's float and destroy it with my badass Jeep.
So would you try to like full on run it over?
Yeah.
Crash into it?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, would you just have it in the parade, or would you have it off to the side and then have it like in a side street?
Oh, no, it would totally be in the parade.
Awesome. Okay. Eugene, what would Bud Johnson be doing? If he was a part of this entourage, knowing that you were trying to help the princess not be I guess really, yeah. Basically, you were trying to help protect the princess because the queen is eradicating the other heirs. So in your eyes, she is the evil one in this case. Now, again, this is totally illegal, so you might also have issues with that, but... Would you be assisting Jayson's character in helping the planning or in the actual action of driving into the float?
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Okay.
In fact, we can take it from 2 different angles.
So we could have a Jeep
That
on
could
one
be
hand.
another car. We can coordinate.
What kind of vehicle would you be in?
A-team van.
A minivan, awesome, okay.
A-team van.
What was it?
A-team van.
A-team van, awesome. All right.
Okay, that's much better.
And Brandon, if the thief had to be involved, now the thief's got an ulterior motive, right? You know that the queen basically had the last Super Bowl team in Utah, which is pretty awesome, given that, what would they be called? Like the, okay, I can't even say it because I'd be pretty discriminatory.
But your eyes lit up so
Screwed up
much.
everything again.
Jayson, did you unmute yourself?
I think we're getting an echo, yeah.
Yeah,
I had to
he's
fix
had a mute, so.
Grandpa.
It was frozen.
Brandon,
I would, in my cowardly nature, be as far away from the actual killing as possible.
yeah.
However, in knowing Jayson, man, he's not all that smart, so I'd probably help him come up with a better plan than ramming the fucking float.
Okay, well, it sounds like the first place we should start is that, Brandon, you are in a Jeep off to the side and that is about to be brought into the floats of the parade with Jayson at the lead and probably trying to convince him that this is a bad idea. So you hear the music to the side, the left, right, in front of you of basically loudspeakers that are playing some kind of like horrible, again, I don't try not to say horrible church music, but that's kind of what I'm going for. Some elegant and classic music that's just being pumped out of these speakers. That sounds very regal and elegant. Totally not your style. Totally not Jayson's style. The Road Warrior. There are women that are like effortlessly sort of like slow dancing with the what do they call this? Kind of like the sashes that are kind of like dangling off their arms and long dresses. There are people that are all dressed up, some of them in like these sort of like leaf outfits, as they all have these festive, ridiculous costumes. There's a lot of food stands. There's a lot of people. There's thick crowds. And so you can kind of hear this rustle and bustle underneath this loud, elegant music that's playing. And these cars, for the most part, that are either lightly covered with like an actual box set up where people are standing on them, or just cars with people that are actually standing out of them. And you are in Jayson's Jeep, waiting to be ushered out into out of the garage as the next float in the parade. Jayson, why don't you tell Brandon your plan again?
Am I the lead vehicle in the parade?
No, you're waiting to be number 37th or something, because the queen is actually towards the end.
I'm disappointed that I'm not the lead vehicle in the parade.
Do you want to be the lead? You could be the lead.
It's a badass Jeep. Just saying.
Okay, so the conversation can kind of start with Jayson. The idea was that you were supposed to be 37th, but as Brandon got into your Jeep, you pulled ahead and raced to the front because your badass Jeep should be the first float out.
Right.
What is
and
your
it inspires the people.
What does your badass Jeep look like for the parade or the festival? Does it look any different, or does it just look like a badass Jeep?
Well, it does look different than modern day Jeeps, but it's lifted and it's got big knobbies on it, and it bristles with weapons and armor.
Oh, somebody's compensating for something.
Well, right now I have a little Jeep. A little Jeep.
Okay. Jayson, do you have any strategies that would make the Jeep look a certain way? What are your strategies?
Well, it is capable of stealth camouflage.
What strategies do you have on your character sheet?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was just making shit up on the fly. Hold on. I have futuristic Jeep.
Okay, well that's pretty awesome. Why don't you roll Imagine, roll Reason Futuristic Jeep. So you probably should just be able to click the die that's next to Futuristic Jeep, and it should ask you if it's Imagine or Reason.
Gotcha.
Can I throw something in?
Of course.
I would like to have had Zed, Dr. Zed,
Yeah.
give the driver basically time delayed drugs that's gonna, in the middle of the parade, just knock him completely for a loop. It's just gonna start swerving you all over the place.
Who would you want this done to?
The driver of the float that the
Okay.
Queen is on.
All right. We'll work on that next. So,
Just to set the events off.
Jayson, did you find the die roll?
Yes, I did.
Did you click it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, there it is. And there's always a delay with the Twitch. Okay, so we got a 2 under 5, which is great, and we got a 4 under 8. So you got 2 successes. How the die mechanic works, as you see, is you just want to get 2 successes to get everything that you kind of want out of the situation. If you get 1 success, there'll be a catch. If you get no successes, then you don't just fail. There's more problems. Things escalate. But everything's sweet sailing for you. So you said that you wanted it to be inspiring, right? You wanted it to be powerful with all these weapons all over it. Did you want to be announced in any certain way?
I'll do that over my own PA speakers that are attached to the Jeep.
Okay. So there is a float that is slowly being kind of ushered towards the front with these people who are kind of waving it over with like those beacons. And you can see that it has some sort of statue of like an angelic statue with like this fake tabernacle behind it, which is supposed to be the Queen. Like the statue that they want to put of the Queen in front of the tabernacle, like this mockery. And it's being slowly escorted towards the front, which you just cut them off, right? You drive right around them in front. Which then, of course, has all these people like yelling and kind of screaming behind you, but it's all muffled by the crowd as you take pole position. This guy that would be basically ready to coordinate and send people out is forced to basically jump to the side and get out of the way, because just as you corner in front of the lead float, you take the space where he was occupying. There's no one to stop you, and as far as you know, it's time for the parade to start. Unfortunately, Brandon, your character is in the passenger seat. What do you look like, or what are you doing while this happens?
I am yelling at Jayson because we're here to kill somebody, so let's bring all the attention to us, you moron.
What's Jason's character's name?
My character's name is Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom, you're a moron.
Okay.
I don't disagree.
You can't disagree.
And some guys to the left and right of you are like, you gotta move, get out of the way. Either go out or go back in.
I'm in the front. It's where I belong.
And the guy is just spinning this baton like, you just go, 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 go. You hear these sort of trumpets that are being played as the first float is to leave the garage, basically, which just has this like, open sort of like, like a mechanic shop double door that's just been like covered all around to look like you're coming out of a tree. Do you gun it? Do you just drive out? Do you slowly trot the powerful Jeep?
Yes.
Okay, Brandi, where do you want to be during the parade? You know what you've asked Tom to do. You know some of his usual accomplices. And most likely to your horror, you're about to see him in his mighty Jeep, totally not incognito, just pull out in front of all of the other floats.
I feel like I would be on a float somewhere, but behind the Queen, because she's way more important than me, and she would not want me in front of her.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm on a couple floats back
Okay.
from the Queen.
So
Hopefully-
yeah, maybe you're all the way towards the back. She
Yeah.
doesn't want to steal. She doesn't want you to
was
steal
back
her
with the horses
thunder.
and stuff, like where they don't have candy and things, like the end of the parade that no one really cares about.
Exactly right, but close enough that she would basically be able to have you, keep tabs on
Right.
you.
Keep an eye on me. Yep.
Okay. All right. So basically, you're seeing out of TVs off to the side that are showing the beginning of the parade, and you see some news anchor and some other person who basically all reporting outside, and they are like showing, and the first float is about to come out. As we know, this is something they've been working at for a very long time. It's what the tabernacle statue should look like, what Queen Madania will look for the future of the tabernacle and the kingdom of Utah. Let's see it. And as they kind of turn and point, Jayson's monstrosity pulls out and kind of as if it was jumping out of a ramp, just because it's just a strong, powerful Jeep and it's coming up at an angle, kicks out, and you said it's adorned with weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Are they camouflaged like corn? Like, what are you doing?
It looks like a predator on wheels.
The people begin to ooh and ah, but not in the sense of like, oh, look, it's great, the Harvest Festival, the floats. More of like, like ooh and ah, like gasps. Like fear is rampant as these people are elegantly dancing, and the festive, glorious, regal music is playing. It totally is a cross-section with the vibe. Brandon, unfortunately, you as well are just sitting passenger seat. I imagine like you are right now, kind of face-palmed. As everyone is staring at the Jeep, which are you two of you are totally visible, right? Is there no top?
Oh, of course not.
Okay. So the Jeep comes out loud and proud. Is it a big Jeep? Because I just keep imagining like a monster Jeep in a way, but.
Well, I mean, it's a regular sized Jeep. It's just got really big wheels.
Okay. So the hog
It's got true,
drives out.
doesn't it?
It's a little difficult to basically maneuver, but you're an expert driver, so you have no problem. A lot of people are kind of hard to see because you're just raised up high enough. And there are people that are like on the ground, like dropping leaves and stuff to decorate the situation. Okay, the parade begins to go on. More and more floats come out. Jayson, what's the next thing that your character's thinking is going to happen in this plan?
Yeah, Jayson.
Well,
Leaves
how
are
far back
falling
is-
from above and they're landing all over your Jeep.
What is that?
There are leaves that are falling that are all meant to just kind of like pedal down on top of the floats as they go by.
It's beautiful.
That's pretty.
There are kids that are expecting candy and all they're seeing is guns.
And they're going to get a lot of blood here in a minute. How far back is the queen?
Well, since you took pole position, she's about 40 floats back.
Nailed it!
Is it too late to go back?
Wait, oh, this isn't my spot! Really?
Okay, so as you think of what to do with that, and Brandon, what's your character's name?
Chad.
Chad.
Oh, we are awesome. Tom, Winona, and Chad.
So, Chad, is there anything that you'd like to do, or any ideas that you have that might actually help course correct? Or
Yeah, I would like to get out of the Jeep.
Well, you can't do that.
is there any way to make that a part of the show, or are you just jumping out?
I'm just gonna bail out.
All right.
We can't be doing more than like 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, of course. So Tom, you see Chad open the passenger door and just say, see ya, and just jumps out into the crowd.
Well, that's not part of the plan.
You didn't have it. Your plan was terrible. And I'm going to wait for candy on the side of the road.
I like to think, too, that you, jumped out backwards. You were like, your plan was terrible.
Your plan was bad.
Okay.
I don't know if it's heroic, but it might be a death.
Brandon, I'm going to wind my way back to the queen, just zigzagging in and out, just like a Shriner.
His name is Chad.
Yeah, I don't know who Brandon is.
Okay. Meanwhile, Eugene, so let's talk about you talking to Dr. Zed before the event, right? So Dr. Zed is, I imagine since the Kingdom of Utah, he's a lot like a doctor, right? He's going to have a nice doctor's office, maybe with some more mixes of strange potions or a little more alchemical sense, right? of being more of like a holistic medicine guy. Maybe he's got like an office instead of like, sending stuff off to different laboratories like you would more modern day. So Dr. Zed's kind of got an all-in-one sort of office lab, right? Not where he would do surgery, but anything else. And imagine you're in this room that's got like nice wood furnishings with strange bottles around and books everywhere, and a nice desk with a. Do you think of him as like an elder man, or is he young, or what do you think Dr. Zed looks like?
Probably early 50s.
Okay, so early 50s, probably been here long before Utah was a kingdom. Must be very loyal to the queen, if he could really have the access that he does in the tabernacle.
Well, I don't know about loyal to the queen, but yes.
He may have been at one time.
Yes, maybe he's disillusioned with the.
Just because we don't get enough of that in modern days, you're in this office-like room, and it's full of smoke, and he's a heavy cigar smoker, which is very funny for being like the royal doctor.
Seems legit.
And this thick aromatic smell of Cuban cigars, you can wade through the thicket of a mist to find him, but you can clearly talk to him. What do you talk to him about with this plan? You wanted to poison the driver, right?
Yes.
So, Bud, let me get this straight. You want him unconscious? Do you just want him sleepy, drowsy? I mean, she's going to be like 40 back in the floats. We can't have her. He's got to be awake enough. I mean, if he causes too much of a problem, they're just going to replace the guy.
Yeah, it needs to be. It needs to kick in after some time. That's the main challenge there.
Okay. So, how close are you with Dr. Zed?
In terms of relationships, I'm close because he's patched me up a number of times.
So, I mean, Bud, I'm not a miracle worker. What do you expect of me? I can give you a wheelhouse. I mean, do you want him unconscious in an hour? You want him unconscious in a day? Do you want him unconscious for 2 hours? I mean, what are we talking?
If it can be in a couple of hours, that's probably good timing.
Okay. Which one of your strategies would help you best communicate this message to him so he gets what you're selling here?
Of the strategies?
Yes. What strategies do you have?
I got the hold my beer and watch this, I'm too old for this shit, and I can fix this.
So it definitely sounds like it's either I can fix this, or I'm too old for this shit in relating to this guy, right?
Yeah, I think that I'm too old for this shit is probably...
That's a very reasonable use of that.
In terms of like, you know your stuff. I'm just do your thing.
Okay, a couple of hours. Give me a roll. So that's going to be reason, and I'm too old for this shit. Whoop.
Alright, hold on. I got... so I just hit vision roll and it's going to figure out which one.
Okay.
There we go.
And so now what you want to do is go by your strategies, and to the right of them there should be a little dice logo.
I see.
Oh.
Strategies to the right?
And there should be a little die there, I think.
I see something to the left.
Oh, it might be to the left.
Alright, so...
Yeah, it is to the left, my bad.
I did it. I clicked something, but I don't know if it did anything.
Okay. And...
Or should I hit...
It did something.
I don't know what it did.
Okay.
Rolled a 2 and a 5.
So... Let me just check one thing. Go into Eugene, character sheet. Went to Too Old for This. Clicking that. It should be to the right of Too Old for This.
Oh, the one that's...
Just because it's on... so that one's on the right
to
side.
the left of the milestone. Okay.
And then it's going to have you pick
so
that
I selected
Dropbox.
and then I hit vision roll? Dropbox? I don't
Yeah.
see a Dropbox.
Once you click that
But
little...
it's got highlighted. Yep.
Yeah, so...
And now hit vision roll?
here, I'll do it. If you, to the right of Too Old for This, there's a little box. You click that, and once you click it, it's going to tell you pick Imagine or Reason. And I said Reason, and then I hit Submit for you. Let me check real quick. Maybe I don't have your permission set up right. Let me see real quick.
It's highlighting it, but it's not giving me anything.
Okay. Well,
Drop down.
I rolled it for you. So you got a 9 for Reason, which is too high, and you got a 4 for Strategy. So that succeeded. So you got 1 success. With the 1 success, you can justify how one of your tags might help you in this situation. So you're kind of relating to the guy. You're like, I need about 2 hours, but you want to make sure that's specific enough. Which one of your tags would help him better understand you?
Well, we are talking about the temporary tag of malicious was relevant.
Yeah.
Getting to the doctor to do this, so it's like, well, for this to work properly, we kind of need a cover of the float driving erratically to be able to pull this off. So it really does need to be 2 hours.
Okay. And then to the left of your tag that says malicious, I'm sorry, to the right of the malicious tag, there should be a little button there. Do you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see the button. When I hit it, it gets highlighted, so I don't get any drop down.
Okay. Well, it did work, though.
Wrong, but, oh.
There you go.
And you got a 7.
Oh, I see.
So with the 7, that's still too high.
Oh, I see. The drop down. Okay, I have it open in a separate thing. That's the problem. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we figured out. Yeah, I mean. Okay. So with the 7, it's still too high. So you had 1 reroll because of your tags. So you still got 1 success, but there's a catch, right? So you're explaining to him. You think he understands what you're asking for. He shows you a concoction, holds it in his hand. All right, I got this syringe, this needle. We just got to find a way to give this to the driver, and what you asked for is done. So,
all right.
How do you think we can get this to the driver? He puts it in your hands, in like a little box.
Yeah, I think usually they kind of are waiting for the show to start at this dive, and they're somewhat nervous sometimes beforehand. So I'm sure he's going to be having a little bit of a drink, not too much as far as he knows. But if we slip this in there, that should work nicely.
Okay, all right.
Right?
Is this something you would do, or is this something you would have asked someone else to do?
Well, I think the thief might be a little better at this kind of stuff. Actually, no. The princess could convince anybody to drink anything, I'm sure.
Of course.
So, we can. Why don't we give it to the princess, and we'll say that she was on board with this. Obviously, this was all a part of the plan, right? What did you tell the princess was in the syringe? Or
something.
What did she need to know?
Well, it's all part of the plan, so yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to tell her the actual plan of that the driver is going to, go a little bit off track when a couple of hours into the parade, or a couple of hours after you give it to him, so that'll give us a good distraction of the float acting erratically, and we can make things happen then.
Okay. Is Brandi W. Is Winona cool with this idea? Would she care if it didn't come from Jayson?
Oh, no. It's fine with me.
Okay. How would you want to go about getting this into the person's drink? Or into their system?
Okay, I'm putting it into Jayson? Or the driver of the...
The Queen's Float. The driver of the Queen's Float.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's just a peasant, right? He's honored to be driving this queen, and I'm just gonna show him some attention, obviously, like girls do. He can't refuse a princess, so he has to have a drink with me.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, I imagine that somewhere behind the scenes, probably at a pre-gathering, as people were getting ready for the probably the royal parties, right? You had some place off to the side where you were all just relaxing. Maybe the driver was going by, and you were able to basically wave him over and be like, "I want you to drink with me." Which one of your strategies would have helped you get that person's attention and get them over to you?
Okay, my strengths are the drinking, yodeling, and dance fighting, right?
Yeah, but for example, drinking, if that was the situation, it's maybe you don't want to drink alone.
No, of course not. That's just sad. All right, so I roll that.
Yeah, I would say it's a reasonable use of drinking.
Okay. Do I do a magic? Oh, reason. Got it. Reasonable use. I'm learning. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good.
Okay, it's actually real good because you want to roll under. So
okay.
You got 2 successes. So the person, there's no funny business. The person doesn't think it twice of it. The person feels very honored. To give the person a name, why don't we call him Jerry? So Jerry is a guy who's walking by, pretty average and unassuming, dark hair, well-shaven, middle-aged, average body type, pretty nondescript, just kind of moseying around, not really in anyone's business. Getting the attention of the princess is huge, right? He probably actually looked over his shoulder like, "Are you talking to me?" You have no problem getting him to come over. After a little bit of time of him being very uncomfortable and weird about it, he sits down with you and he has a drink. Did you do something to the drink beforehand? Or is that something that you're going to kind of talk to him and then slip it in the drink?
Yeah, I did it ahead of time, and I was there, and I was pouring drinks, and I was like, "You wouldn't make a lady drink by herself, would you?" As he was walking by, and I just kind of approach him, and I'm the princess. So what are you gonna do? You'll get beheaded if you piss me off. So I do him because I'm a boss ass bitch. Everyone knows.
Yeah. So he sits down. He looks very uncomfortable, sweating bullets, realizing that this is also the family that, everyone ends up missing or dead. So, and with your reputation, you sound like the mini-me of the queen, right? Like you're the boss-ass bitch and the boss-ass bitch too. So,
oh no, I don't want to be number 2.
He sits down and he looks at you. So what are we drinking?
Kool-Aid and vodka.
Kool-Aid and vodka. It's the these potatoes were grown right here in Utah. It's a family-owned business grown right here on the castle grounds. It's been in our family for centuries. Even though this kingdom's only 3 years old, I think.
Given the the double success too, those famous Idaho potatoes. He is so happy and excited to get something that might help him be a little more cool and calm and collected in front of you. So yeah, he takes the drink and he drinks too much of it too quick, which is all to your benefit here. As he kind of gets close to downing it, he puts it down. Oh, was I supposed to sip it? He's kind of holding it.
No, I'm quite impressed by your stature. Normally, no one can outdrink me.
He has no problem finishing it, and that kind of floats off into the scene with you talking to him for as long as you want to. Later and back where we're at now, Brandon, is Chad doing anything other than waiting for the floats?
No, I'm just there collecting all the candy I can.
Okay. You get tons and tons of candy. By the time that the Queen's float is ready to come out, you've seen all kinds of floats. By this time, you've had people that were dancing on the floats, people with wonderful costumes, kids who threw candy they tried to peg you with the candy, instead of just throwing it towards you. They're having fun trying to hurt people with it. You've seen it all. And finally, there's an announcement with the two, even the anchor basically, as Brandi went out in the back can still see. And finally, the Queen has arrived. And you hear an as this 6-point turn is happening with the Queen's float. And a loud scraping And out basically from the TV screen that you're looking at as the Queen's making her arrival, you see this smoke that starts coming out before the float actually comes out front. This loud sort of like nails on chalkboard screeching. That's obviously the float actually scraping against the garage wall. And you hear what sounds like a bang. And as people just kind of like the people who are right outside the garage start kind of fanning the smoke that's coming out, the Queen is forced to walk out on foot. As she wanders out, choking on the smoke, she's got thick brown, like brunette curls, which should have hints of gray, but she seems ageless. And she's very tall, maybe 5'10", and she is dressed actually rather comfortably, given that she's got like flat shoes and mostly like this sort of brown and honey-colored gown. She isn't, beautiful and majestic as much as she's actually more like Midwestern and motherly.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, I just mean like we're not like it's not like Taylor Swift or something. This is So Midwestern. Hey, what's up, Midwest? So
she's not beautiful.
She comes out. Eugene, where would you be watching this?
In the A-Team van.
Okay. Were
Off
you
to the
also in
side.
the parade? Or are you off to the side waiting?
I'm off to the side in the van. It's all revved up and ready to go.
I like the thought that, okay, all this smoke is happening. She's forced to kind of walk out coughing. Quickly, an attendant or two kind of rush up to the side of her to, like, help her, make sure she's okay. And they're kind of, like, trying to hold her up even though she's not falling. And, like, these two headlamps of your, like, A-Team van in the garage just off to the side, like, turn on. What do you want to do? There's some smoke filling the area. You can see that the drugs worked out so well or so poorly that the float actually didn't make it out into the parade.
You didn't give me a dosage, all right?
Oh well.
You can see the princess float
cover.
about 5 back.
Kinda jumped me.
The smoke seems like a perfect cover, but rather than make it too obvious and run her over with the van myself, I'm actually going to get behind the float and push it onto her.
Okay. Brandi, Winona, one of the people on the float goes, "Oh my God, whose float is that?" And this black van comes kind of off to the side out of the shadows, and two headlamps turn on, and it kind of pulls out and tries to, like, it's kind of driving on the edge of the smoke, but you're seeing kind of fume out of that float. And there was a couple floats between you and the Queen, but you're kind of on the edge of the smoke, and this van is kind of hightailing it towards your float, but like kind of angling to get in front of you. The immediate attendants around you kind of, "What is that? Look. Oh my God, is that a float? Maybe it's one of the special floats." You find yourself in a situation where that needs an explanation or it's a problem. Now, you may not actually recognize it. There's some strange A-Team van that is hijacking its way into the parade for the second time today. Obviously, Jayson being the
I
first.
don't really have an explanation for anything Jayson ever does in his whole life. You're gonna kill me and this isn't heroic. Can I, however, though, like, dance fight my way off, like, robot the hell out of that spot? Can I do some moves to
Sure.
get out of here a little bit?
Why am I going to kill you?
They got my jam playing on the float and I just...
Eugene. So you're not actually going towards her. It just looked like that. Some of the people on her float begin to panic and start jumping ship off the float as you see her, like, actually dance moving her way off of the top of the float. What do you do? As you basically have to cut in front of her if you want to try to get behind the other vehicles. Now, the vehicles that are immediately in front of you in the smoke are kind of hard to see. Do you have a strategy you want to use to try to navigate through that and push the Queen's float out? Or are you going to try to hit the chain all three of them out?
I'm going to try to maneuver around to get one of the floats. Just the one, basically, so I don't have to try to push multiple floats in front of me.
Okay. Brandon, you have, at this point, basically gotten close enough towards the front garage because there's been a delay in the amount of the floats that are coming. So more of the people are kind of like migrating, and you, in the case of just trying to catch the most candy or wait for a ride, have found yourself moving towards the front, where you can kind of see the smoke billowing out. You can see the queen out there who's yelling at a couple of like handmaids, basically, who are helping her and walking her. Like, if she wasn't fighting, she would already be out of the way. But she's kind of batting at them and blaming them for everything that's gone wrong and complaining about how the Harvest Festival is a total ruin. It's a total mess. It's all their fault. What do you do?
I will, excuse me. I will start to just maneuver with my huge bag full of candy and just try to get closer to where the queen is.
Okay.
That's it. Just get to where I can get there real quick if I need to.
Okay. Jayson, you get to the finish line. You get where you wrap around to the end where there's this grand party and there are all these models and like basically like race car drivers and other people of note, the dignitaries that are all hanging out to like wave, do autographs, all of the fun festivities at the end. You do see giant TVs that also showcase the front of the, where the parade, where everything was coming out. And other than showing highlights of your debut, it's also showing the smoke and this cloud of what's going on.
Okay. Well, since I was 37 spaces away from where this is happening, I will do a power slide and turn around and start heading back that direction. And if the queen is still on foot, I'm going to do my best to just run her ass over.
Okay. All right. Eugene, are you with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm back.
Is everything better
waiting
now?
for the subtle approach. We'll see.
Okay.
It just periodically stutters.
Okay. All right. It's important for me to know in case I need to do something. But okay. So in your case, you were the first one to mention it. You were going to try to move one of the cars to push it out. Which one of your strategies would help you in that situation?
I think considering that there are a lot of them, and I think I can get behind just one strategies we're talking about, right? Hold my beer and watch this.
Okay. It sounds like an imaginative use of it, right? Obviously that you're using that motto to help you. Yeah, Jayson, can you hit the reconnect button in Roll20, please?
Go over here. Go to your gear.
And then, Eugene, why don't you make that roll?
Now
Scroll
I
down.
see the pop-up. Ew.
Exit out of your character for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, and
Whatever that is, get rid of that.
we got an 8, so that's a fail. We got double fail. So, first of all, there are two things you can do. You can use it...
Wait.
There you go. Now scroll down. All the way down.
Sorry, they're talking. Eugene, so you got 2 fails because you rolled over on both. You want to roll under.
Wait. Strategy 6 versus 8, hold my beer?
Good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. You got 1 success. So you got 1 success. The other one... okay. Any tags that you'd like to use to help you with the soul skill roll? Any tags that would help you in this situation?
Tag? Overconfident.
Overconfident. How would that help you?
I definitely can do this.
Okay.
The fact that I have that actually one of my tires has gone flat is not a problem.
No fear.
Okay. Did you see how to hit that button?
Yeah. The problem was before
Excellent.
that I
okay.
can...
2 successes.
There we go.
So you get behind the float that's immediately behind after you navigate in front of Winona's float, enter into the dust and the mist and the smoke, navigate around a couple of the other floats, pushing one towards the end. You just kind of count them from the head count that you had before. Okay, 36, 35, 34. This has got to be the one. Push. And you start moving that forward. Okay? Brandon, you see, as you're getting right up and close, the queen who's batting these people away, you hear basically a roar of a vehicle that seems to be coming around from the other way. It sounds like there's something that's moving behind the queen and something that's moving fast and powerful back towards the front end of the garage. You have a good spectator spot as long as nothing swerves to the left.
Yeah, as long as I'm safe, I'm going to stay right where I'm at.
Okay, all right. Jayson.
Smoke him going by. Pow!
Jayson, you turned around to navigate your way back. Did you just turn around on the float path, or are you actually going to like plow through a part where the crowd is?
Oh no!
Yeah.
I would not kill the innocent people of the Kingdom of Utah.
And their glorious potatoes.
I am, however, going to try and pick Brandon's character up on my way back.
Okay, awesome. All right. So, are you going back down the path of the float? Or are you...
Yeah, I'm zigzagging my way back.
Okay, any way possible. Gotcha. You could use your vehicle strategy, or did you have another strategy in mind of getting your way back?
Well, I do have futuristic Jeep.
Yeah. So it sounds like a reasonable use of that if you want to roll that.
It is the best, but I'm also an expert driver.
Yeah.
So whatever you feel is necessary.
It's a reasonable use of your driving.
All right. Here goes.
Reasonable.
Oh, reasonable. Sorry, my bad.
Don't worry, Pete, I got it.
This thing is so slow. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm sorry, maybe I spoke too soon.
Pete's like, I changed my mind. It's not okay.
And submit.
Yeah, the problem I had is I popped out the character sheet and then I couldn't see the pop-up behind it.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. Okay,
Now that
well,
it's
like
popped back
$80
in, it works fine.
It's okay, Jayson. Nobody's judging your bad computer.
It's my son's.
No one's judging your bad computer.
It's probably infected with porn. I don't know.
2 successes.
Yeah.
All right, so you're zigging and zagging. Chad, you see Tom in his monster Jeep basically pulling up, the roaring through the crowd of him zigging, zagging through the empty space where the crowd was waiting for floats to be coming. So he's kind of had to honk and move his way through, but you see he's the loud roaring vehicle that's kind of coming back towards your way. How do you signal to him that you're coming to get him? Do you just pull in front of him? Like you slide the wheels? Or?
Yeah.
All right. Chad, do you have any interest in getting in that Jeep?
No. Clearly, Pete, he's not willing to get in the Jeep, so I'm going to use the man catcher attachment on the Jeep to just scoop him up and put him right back in the car.
That doesn't exist.
Yes, it does. I have a futuristic Jeep.
He does have a futuristic Jeep. Do you protest or should he roll?
Put me in the Jeep.
Roll.
Okay. So is it like a net or is it like an arm that pulls out that grabs him?
It's a little of both.
It's a net arm.
It's like a giant catcher's mitt.
Like an arm sticks out and then it extends and then just grabs onto him.
It scoops him up.
Okay, so as the TV screens are watching, right, basically this Jeep pulls in, slides towards the front, make sure that it grabs you, in particular, Chad, out of all of the people available, puts you into the Jeep, and as far as I can tell, right, you were just driving straight at the front of the garage, right, Jayson?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Jayson, it does look like you might have froze again, but you're headed towards it. Eugene, you've pushed forward. Winona, last but not least, where are you at after having danced off the float?
I think she's talking to you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was talking to me. He said push forward.
My bad.
Jason's ruining everything.
It's my fault.
I think his camera's working now. It might have just been a lag. That's all.
Oh, dang. Okay, I'll mess.
Because I see him. He's moved since. So now I can't tell if he's frozen or if he's just half moved. But all right. So Brandi, Winona danced her way off the top of the float. The two vehicles are about to be on a collision course with the Queen. Where do you want to be? What are you doing?
Sorry.
I want to move. I want to put on my invisibility cloak. And because, royalty, it's so hard to get around everything. It's just so hard to move.
Yeah.
I want to make my way towards a good vantage point so I can see what's going on with the queen.
Okay.
And maybe stab her in the throat if I have to.
Okay.
But also not get crushed by a car.
Jayson, you see basically another float coming out of the smoke as the smoke is beginning to fade. It is coming very fast. You were busy grabbing Chad with the arm and then hightailing it towards the front. Now you find yourself where if you smash into the queen, you would also head-on collision with something else that looks like it's about to smash her from behind. What do you want to do?
What is the other thing?
It is a float that has a lot of corn stalks on it, meant to mirror what her float looked like. But it's also got a bunch of scarecrows on it that are large and sort of like artistic, made of like what looks like metal contraptions.
That's nice.
And how close is she to that thing?
Basically, it's kind of like that snap judgment of where you can kind of see it flying out of the dust as it's settling, looking like it's going to like fly out of the garage area because it's kind of a ramp thing like we mentioned.
So it's going to hit her.
It looks like it.
So if it hit her, it would probably injure her or kill her, right?
You would believe so because it's probably a car underneath, so that should do the job.
So if it was also on fire, that would probably help.
It wouldn't hurt.
You have flaming arrows attached to that?
I will shoot it with my Jeep's futuristic laser.
Thaddeus has a request, and that is, sir? Like, okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can Jayson sing Let It Go?
No.
Not really. No, I can't do that.
Veto.
Because dude is frozen.
Oh, I get it.
I got it.
Okay.
Shit, again?
Okay.
Your computer's smashed.
It's junk. The battery's almost dead. We just realized that a second ago.
Yeah, we were doing tech support because Jayson forgot you have to plug things.
No, I had it plugged in. It came unplugged. I did, I swear to God. Why would I have it plugged into the wall and not plugged into the computer?
Okay. So, while that's going on, Chad, is there anything that you want to do? As you dropped back on this Jeep, it's very clear that everyone saw that you were put back on this Jeep that seems to be headed right to the Queen.
I want to scream and yell and flail about and let everybody know that I was just abducted.
Excellent. How would your character know how to do that? What strategy would help you?
Cowardly?
Okay, is that a strategy?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's use, it sounds like a reasonable use of cowardly, right? So roll reason in cowardly.
All right, how do I do that?
Cowardly is going to be on the strategy boxes. Is it on the left side or the right side?
On the left side.
Okay, so just to the left of the name, there should be a little like dice logo icon. If you click that, and you'll get a little pop-up that says Imagine or Reason. And then you're going to click, yeah, awesome. Okay, so you want to roll under. So you got one success because your strategy of 5 is under 8. Would any of your tags help you in this situation? Make you better for this?
Let's see. No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. So you had one success. In your case, you were, flailing about, kind of trying to act the fool, facing the camera, like this as you're going by of the TV crew, trying to let everyone know that you were an unwilling participant.
Yes.
Jayson, it looks like we have you back. What was your choice? What were you going to do with that futuristic weapon? You were going to try to shoot the float that's coming out?
Yeah, I figure if the other float's going to hit the Queen, I don't have to run the Queen over at all.
Okay.
I'll set that float on fire and, maybe I'll just shoot it with napalm instead of a laser.
Okay. Roll Imagine in your futuristic vehicle.
It does not have a napalm Jeep. That's not a thing.
Sure it is.
And we say Imagine because it was so split second. Like, it was kind of like, oh shit, what do I do? Blast it with napalm.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
You want to roll on mine, see if... Oh, wait, never mind, they're different. I was going to say, so you feel like you get to roll, but... Okay, never mind.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so, Brandi, Winona is going to basically invis cloak move her way through this, get to a part where like the light is going to like be seen out of the garage, where you can kind of make out the shadows of a woman who is yelling and, you know, slapping and batting away what is 4 or 5 handmaidens right now, just screaming a bloody storm, which can only be your mother. And the other people are trying to actually move her out of the way. Some of them are kind of keen on, there's a lot of things that are going on right now that are possibly endangering her. And you can kind of make this out as you can see one of the floats get rammed by that van and is just launching like a bat out of hell out of the garage, probably heading right towards the Queen. So it looks, at least for the moment, that I don't know if this is the way you wanted her to go, but it looks pretty nasty.
Looks pretty good to me.
Pete,
Make it rain, Queen, for all I care.
Pete,
It's everywhere.
Was that Imagine or Reason?
Imagine, please.
Sorry.
You get a piece of the Queen. You get a piece of the Queen. Everybody gets a piece of the Queen.
And
On the way.
if it's easier for you too, you can roll dice in front of you if you want.
Well, looks like it came through.
Okay, we got 1 success. Any tags that would help you with the other one?
Hey guys, if you don't have the Dreamchaser box set, it even comes with dice, okay? we're hooking it up right now. You should get you one. It's beautiful.
That's right.
Very nice.
I'm taking my dice virginity.
Did you get it yet, Pete?
Jayson, yeah, I did. I got 1 success. Any tags that could help you?
What do you want the dice? Hold on.
Yeah,
Even scrolling takes forever.
first to roll it. Okay, thank you.
Do you have any tags in your character that would help you in this situation? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. Sorry.
that's okay.
Does a negative tag count?
Well, you shouldn't have one yet. So you have something else in there that it should work. Whatever you have in there. What is it?
Calculating?
Yeah. How did that help you in this situation?
I calculated the trajectory of the napalm to hit the float at just the right angle that it would set it on fire in the right spot, so when it hit the Queen, she would burst into flames.
Okay. And did you roll the die?
I'm about to.
Okay. It needs to be under a 5.
Under a 5.
You can roll the real dice.
Oh, I could do that. Here, give me the real dice.
They're on your thing.
Okay. Well, it also worked there too. Okay. So Winona.
It's a 3.
What's funny? They both succeeded. That's good. So, Winona, you see that float fly towards the Queen. Jayson, I imagine that you kind of like abruptly slow down or stop your vehicle.
Well, it's a V8. It's not really meant to slow down.
Okay.
He hates you.
What's happening? V8s don't come with brakes?
What do you say?
V8s don't come with brakes.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of like riding a go-kart. You don't touch the brakes.
You just drifted in.
You mash the gas and hit the walls.
Okay. So the float flies out, gets hit by napalm, explodes, rains fire all over the Queen and the handmaids. The float smashes into her as flame and napalm go bursting out. Jayson, your vehicle goes where? Or does it drive right into that mess?
No, I'll go wide right and I'll grab the handbrake, pull the handbrake, do a power slide, and come around and come right back.
Okay.
I was waiting for him to say that he has a lever that turns it into a tiny flying car, like the size of a...
Eugene?
It can't do that.
I'm the one
everything
with the
you wanted
glider.
totally happened as that float went flying, but unbeknownst to you, something hit it and bursted into flames. And rained napalm that must have burst also out of the people in front. You don't quite know what happened. You just heard screams and fire as the flames and little combustions began to explode. Chad, I would say that you're watching in horror, but I think you're still trying to sell it that you're not involved.
I'm watching all the popcorn.
Tom flies into the garage, and what space there is, I don't know, but narrowly gets in, takes that turn and curves. You catch an eye of Winona, and Winona, you see the Queen burning in flames. What does that look like to you?
I I mean, I keep my composure, but I'm happy dancing on the inside. I would like to yodel something melodic to distract and soothe my people from this horrific scene they just...
Let's hear some yodeling.
I don't even know what yodeling sounds.
Why are you touching your throat?
I don't know, it's supposed to make weird noises, but I can't do it with my noise.
I can't do it with my noise?
I can't do it with my throat because it goes
Soothing yodel, yeah.
Right. Okay, maybe I can chicken sing. Let's go chicken sing.
So the queen bursts into flames. You said you then come out of the smoke and you start trying to sing a calming song?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to distract and soothe my people. It's like the hills are alive with the sound of music, alright? It's very calming.
You're gonna distract them from the fiery queen. Like, they're gonna be like, oh look, a yodel.
It's widely known in the Kingdom of Utah that no one really liked her. Okay.
What are your strategies?
Yodeling, drinking, and dancing.
Okay. And how good are you at yodeling?
I'm the best.
Okay, all right. So we can just say it's a gimme. I was like, you have to be. Can you sing? Okay, so you step out and you start yodeling to calm the crowd, the people of the situation that's happened. Do you like walk out as she's like actually being roasted to the side of you, or do you like?
I mean, I let it like die down to like a smoldering. I don't want to hurt my makeup with meltage.
Okay. As you begin to walk out, and what happens to Bud Johnson, Eugene? Where are you at? You pushed that float out, and then you went where?
Once the float is pushed out, I'm gonna just under the cover of smoke, just hard left and get into the kind of back of the garage and pretend like nothing happened.
Okay, so the first milestone is finished as we've killed the queen and become the only ruler of the kingdom. So as Winona walks out, basically everyone is kind of rendezvousing behind the scenes in what's left of the aftermath, as Winona is basically taking center stage.
I'm yodeling "Candle in the Wind" by Sir Elton John. Very calming for queens.
Okay, so
seems to me you lived your life.
When you hit the first milestone, you get to upgrade your characters. So there's two things you get to do with your characters. You get to raise stats, and your belief gets raised as well. So in this case, the first thing you can do is looking at your character sheet. You can raise anything, strategy, health, soul skill, by 1 point, up to 7, except for Brandi, since it was her milestone, she could raise something up to 8 by 1 point, up to 8 if she wanted to. If you wanted to add a new strategy, you can. If you want to add a new relationship, you can. New strategy would start at 4. So these are some options. Do you have any questions?
Okay, let's see. So I can either raise one or I can just have a beginner level something?
Yeah. This is your chance to make something legendary if you want to. So
okay.
You might want to take that up just because it's a short game. So.
Okay, so go ahead and be a legendary yodeler. I got you.
It's probably pretty fitting because, that's kind of the life or death situation that's about to happen here, right? Do you all get framed for murder, or does the yodeling actually do something that kind of makes it so that it's not on the run?
I love this game so much. All right, yeah.
What murder are you talking about?
Yodel or death.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to potentially do, but I decided it was a little too dark for this game, was take my Book of the Dead and raise her in front of everyone. As my servant, but I thought that was going a little left of where we are.
No, do it.
You still have the option in a minute. So yeah, that's. She just had to die first, right?
Right. I'm taking her back, and I'm gonna. Yeah.
So that you could become the only ruler of the kingdom.
Yeah, she'll be my pet.
Okay.
My undead queen.
So everyone got the chance to raise something. Now at your first milestone, you get to raise 2 things. So go ahead and do it again. Except for Brandi, the second thing you raise is up to 7. You only get that special reward for one of your 2 points. So.
I am the best at dance, fighting, drinking, and a legendary hoodler. Life is good.
Brandi, what'd you raise?
I initially raised my body up to 3.
Okay. And
I haven't raised anything else since then.
no problem. Eugene?
I initially raised Imagine up to 7.
Okay. And Jayson, what'd you raise?
Futuristic Jeep.
Right? What is it at now?
It's now legendary.
Okay.
And it's self-aware.
So that's the only one you can't raise because you can't raise something to legendary yet.
Aw. How come she got 2?
I'm better than you.
How come she got 2?
Because you aren't listening.
It was her milestone. You get to do it on the next one. The drive a V8 powered death machine.
All right.
We killed the queen,
Which will be perfect.
But maybe I avenged my family's death.
Because they were actually attacked by cornstalk shaped.
No, maybe the queen did it.
Jason, Pete, I'll mute him. Don't worry.
Thanks.
So I can raise what?
Just anything, but not to legendary.
Yeah.
I don't really have anywhere to go.
You can raise your imagine or your reason. Those are always good ones. You could raise one of your health scores.
Ooh. I'll make my mind a 3.
Sorry, that's like so underwhelming. It's funny.
I know. Literally, all of us were like,
I've raised my mind to below average. You know, like,
I was staring at Pete too because I was just like, and then your face was just so good for you, buddy. Pat, pat, pat.
Okay. We had no challenges. So challenges are when we actually like kick into something a little more like combat that goes back and forth to defeating something. I chose not to do that for the first milestone in particular because, you know, we're just doing dice rolls to get used to it anyway. So that's the only way you can lose belief is from getting defeated in the dramatic situations. Every time that happens, you would lose 2 belief. So everyone gains 2 belief. So you actually all have 6 belief now. The reason you were able to re-roll with tags was because of your belief being above a certain number. So the other thing I didn't tell you in the first milestone, because it really didn't come into play, we didn't have any major failure, was you can buy a double success by spending belief. And now you can even buy a critical success. So if there's a moment where you're like, you know, I want this to go off and I want it to be beautifully awesome, Pete, I'm going to spend 2 belief and this is what happens. Okay?
Where is belief on the character sheet?
It's in the bottom left. There's actually those bubbles.
Giant circle you see? So I fill in 6, right?
Yeah, so you should have 4 filled in right now. You'll fill in 2 more.
Well, should I suck? Okay, I got my 6 now.
Okay.
Torture bag?
6.
Yeah. Okay. So
Thank you.
the next milestone is going to be pretty quick. What we usually do in a long game is we would do vision rolls for each of these, and a lot of people play it where each one of these is a game session, right? Given what we're going for right now, we're kind of going more for a bang, bang, bang model than a one-shot. So you'll see us start to plow through these. As the first part was a lot of the gangbusters we needed for this story, I think. As we can already imagine, probably what the next 2 are a lot about. So, Winona, you are yodeling out before everyone. As people are crying, there are like fire crews that are running in trying to put out smoke. There's all of these armed guards, right, that are rushing in. There are vehicles that are like the military vehicles of the Kingdom of Utah that are, I was going to say militarizing, right? But they're kind of roaring out of different garages. And there was already security around the perimeter that are starting to kind of close in. So that's kind of what's going on as the players kind of looking in. But as characters, right, it's not something unbeknownst to all of you, but that's kind of what's going on in the background. So Winona, you're yodeling. You're actually playing a music that's making this, I want to say calm, but it's not really calm, right? I mean, all you can kind of be is the calm versus the storm, which is you're kind of muting it so it's not as horrific. Like you don't hear the Boston Massacre in the background, right? It's not everyone like screaming and crying and moaning and like smoke. There is this like, I'm the queen now and I'm here and
I'm here for my people.
Yes. And while this is horrible, this is the festival and we will go on.
She would want us to drink and be merry in her absence. It is the Harvest Festival after all.
So it's not totally convincing, but it is what's happening. So when you finish your first song, what are you going to say or do? Because there's still a lot of uneasiness as people are kind of rushing around in an emergency sense, right? And obviously her smoldering ashes of the queen is like live on TV right now.
I am going to, in a commanding voice, I'm going to tell the people they need to move to a safe area. We need to get the women and children out of here, and I am going to what's that word?
Militarize?
That word. I'm going to ask my guy, like, that word.
Yeah, out of the smoky garage. Militarize.
And I will find who did this and who is responsible for murdering our queen this day.
Well, isn't it the guy that was driving the float?
No, there was clearly some shenanigans afoot. She burst into flames before they ever hit.
So as that's happening, right? Tom, you and Chad swing around back. You see Bud Johnson's A-Team basically van. Both of you are basically you all make eye contact through the windshields. What are the three of you doing?
We're going to meet at the rendezvous.
Okay. I don't even get why they are upset, to be honest. You're
not supposed to read that stuff, Pete.
So the three of you, as far as you can tell, you are believing it. You think that she's been, the queen's dead. Obviously, Chad, you think that you guys are suspect number one.
Why?
Because I made it that way.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
Brandi, do you have any strategies that would help you sell that talk, right? That speech you were kind of giving?
I'm manipulative. Does that count?
Strategy first. What strategy?
Oh, sorry, strategy. Did I sing the speech in a yodel? Because if not, probably not.
So you have yodeling, you have drinking, and you have what else?
Fighting.
So I think use imagine drinking, right? Because drinking is being conversational, and this is like a festival, so it kind of makes sense for you.
She was drinking before the thing, so she's got some liquid courage in her.
So
she's ready to run this town tonight.
It's really good to know that the queen, the new queen, the ruler of the kingdom, relies on her ability to be conversational while drinking, to be diplomatic in all situations.
I'm very proud of our potato
pro-level strats, yeah.
I don't know what it's called when you harvest food. What are those? Whatever. Potatoes are great. Vodka.
A potato harvester?
No, whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She's using her liquid courage here.
Okay, so roll imagine and drinking.
Okay. Dun 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 dun.
Okay. You got one success. Are there any tags that would help you?
Manipulative.
Okay, easy. Hit that and see if it helps you with the other one.
Okay.
Okay, no luck, but you do have 2 rerolls now because you have 6 belief. Any other tag that would help you? So.
A boss booty bitch.
So you rely on the yodeling didn't quite work, but it helped. Then you started talking, thinking like, well, hey, if we were all drinking, it's a celebration. You're just kind of like, hey guys, remember it's a party, and you're kind of being like, I got this, I'm the new queen, and that's not quite working. So does the boss bitch come out?
I get commanding. They are not listening to me, and I'm their new queen. I will have order.
Pardon me in chat right now.
Hit that roll too. Hit boss bitch. And that's a 5. Okay, so we got a 2 and a 5. You do have to get under to succeed, so there's a catch, right? You could still buy your way out of it if you wanted to buy a double success or a crit. But
yeah, so I just spend 1 belief to do that?
You spend 2.
All right, let's do it. I'm down to 4 now.
All right. Do you want a critical or do you want a just a regular? Which would... I'm assuming you want a critical, but...
Of course I do.
Okay. So anytime we have a critical in this game, which is cool, is there's 3 versions, right? You can have critical success, critical failure, or critical both. How that works is you just have to get doubles on the dice, and then if you get 2 successes, it's a success, critical success, 2 failures, critical fail, 1 of each, critical both, right? So in this case of her buying it, she can kind of dictate what happens with it, but we always give the benefit collaboratively. So what do you think the best thing that could happen, Jayson, for Winona in this situation, being a boss, taking charge, and telling them why she's in control and everything's going to be fine?
Well, I think the best thing that could happen is everybody's going to listen to her.
Okay. Brandon, anything you would add or anything different you think that would be like the best outcome out of this?
No, that sounds about right. She get everybody calm and that's about it.
Okay.
Get them partying.
Eugene?
Let me handle this. I will give you justice for your queen.
I think there's probably a lot of hidden resentment towards the queen, the previous queen, and people actually relieved that she's gone.
It's true. Thank you, bud. You get it.
Okay.
Bud's good people.
Okay. So, Brandi, you heard all of their responses. You can take the best out of anything they said and add it to what you had. What do you think happens? You can just tell us.
I think they listen to me. They trust that I will be a good queen and I will give them justice for their previous ruler. And these are just good old boys, you know, having a good time at the Harvest Festival. So, like, we didn't like her that much anyway. And they're going to go play beer pong or corn pong. I don't know what they play in this place. So they're just going to go party it up and let me do my job.
So you're saying they were just good old boys, never meaning no harm?
They're the 2 news anchors who were basically doing the promo for this show come towards you with a TV camera and a little film crew, and there's a gentleman probably in his 30s, but he looks 10 years younger with the movie magic, right? Totally super makeup as he gets close up to you. Nice suit with, you know, like a leaf pin on to try to make him look festive, with a silly crown that was made by some kids that was given to him and put on. He comes towards you with obviously the film crew. He gives you like a courtesy bow to the new queen. What do you say about these men who possibly drove vehicles in the direction of the queen? I mean, she was burned with napalm. This was your mother. What say you?
Okay, that's not what my character. I just in my head really hate the queen. Like I built my whole character around. Okay, all right, hold on.
I like that all you do is you maniacally laugh. You're like, I'm the queen. It doesn't matter what happened. You saw nothing.
Right. I just behead him. I would actually like to talk about this in private when I'm not in mourning, and I bring him back to my chambers and I dance fight his head right off. No, I tell him it is tragic, and while I am heartbroken, my mother taught me that my first duty is to my people, and I will do everything I can to bring this to justice.
Okay. So she's kind of moving the crowd and spinning the argument and the conversation. The 3 of you backstage, right? Right behind the smoke as it's basically dwindling away. You hear most of this is kind of on the loudspeakers. What are the 3 of you thinking and doing?
Sounds like it's time to get out of Dodge.
I'm just hysterical.
He's running around in the background.
Yeah, so I mean, Chad, you know 100%. Like, they saw you they vividly saw everything they could possibly need to know to identify you and Tom on TV. At which, you know, he was to you, it's just, you see all the negative, right? You see, like, we were the first float out. We were super militarized for no reason at this festival. He was driving back, picked me up, and launched the napalm past the queen, but then she did burst into flames. Like, it's not hard to put that two and two together.
It's not hard at all.
I was trying to
Maybe
stop.
he was trying to stop the float with napalm. There you go.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to stop the offending float.
Yeah, good one.
The three of you can hear sirens, obviously, from all directions, which could be the fire crew, the ambulances, etc., but you know what comes with fire crew and ambulances. Eugene, what are you thinking? Because you're not in the same vehicle as them.
No, and I think I'm going to ditch this vehicle. And while the smoke hasn't cleared yet, make my way up onto the roof.
Okay. There, as you get out of the van, there are other people who are kind of moving in your direction, and you hear someone say, "Hey, you wait! No one leaves the scene! Everyone was a witness. We will get to the bottom of what happened here." Sorry. Ditching the A-Team vehicle? No! You were being, accosted by people who were obviously like either showrunners or security that was with the float.
Tom, if you don't get us out of here, I'm going to stick this knife in your neck.
Well, then you won't get anywhere.
That sounded way too calm. You need to just shout it.
Oh, Tom, get us out of here!
Tom, get us out of here!
I will engage thrusters and I will escape the scene.
Okay. What about Eugene? What are you doing with the guy? You're just moving on without him?
You're my chauffeur.
I'm going to say that that float is on fire, and it's full of fuel, and it's going to blow any minute. So for your own safety, you better get out of here. Because this whole garage is going to be filled with toxic, burning fumes in moments.
Okay. What strategy would help you come up with that?
I'm too old for this shit. It's like, I'm not dying here. You die here if you want to.
See you, Prance. Okay. What strategy are you using, Eugene?
Too old for this shit.
Too old for this shit.
I'm not going to die here.
It sounds reasonable. Give it a roll and see how it goes.
Is that an imaginative?
Reason.
Reason? Alright. Let's see what we got.
Okay. We got one success. Anything you want to help use for the other one? Any tags that help?
I'm gonna use experience because I've seen this kind of mess before. And just what can go down when fire mixes with fuel.
Okay. Give it a roll. And, good.
Right.
Okay. So you say that, and the man goes, he looks at you, he can't quite make you out, because you're all kind of like in the midst of this chaos of the smoke, and it's not as thick and heavy as it once was. I mean, he can kind of make you out, but more he's seeing the shadow of you. He's right. Everyone's got to get out of here. If we don't move soon, there could be another explosion. And if there's an explosion, brought to you by Kit Kat. Thanks, Brandon.
You don't eat Kit Kat. Go fuck yourself.
You bring enough to share?
Okay, and then Jayson, that obviously Eugene, that gives you enough time for Bud to move towards the roof. But Jayson, so you're just going to try to drive out the front or the back? I'm sorry, can you hear Jayson?
I did not hear.
Sorry.
He muted the mic and forgot to unmute it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Which way is less guarded?
I mean, anything's probably better than the front, right? Because the video camera, the TV cameras, and all the attention is out there still.
Right. Is this a parking structure?
Well, yeah. It's a garage. It's meant to be like a big garage that funnel like a lot of vehicles. Eugene was actually trying to Bud Johnson was going to make his way to the roof. So there probably is a ramp that could lead you up towards the higher level on the vehicle if you want. Obviously, that's going to lead to some situation of like jumping from the roof of the building, but if you're cool with that.
Well, it is a futuristic Jeep, Pete.
Of course.
It's true.
It's capable of doing that. But I will just escape out the back.
Okay. As you head towards the back, go ahead and make a driving roll.
Okay.
Reason and driving. See if there's any problems that will conflict with you. It's helpful that Bud has basically given you free rein. At least there's a good excuse for why everyone's trying to get out of here.
All right.
There's a woman on the side of the vehicle. Help! Help! We need to get out of here. They say it could explode.
Just the queen, ma'am. It's fine.
Just the queen.
Enjoy your potato juice.
Oh man, this thing is so slow.
And Eugene, I imagine you basically take a staircase that leads you upward.
Or fire escape, or like a ladder.
There you go.
I'm pretty mad that my chauffeur's trying to ditch me.
I can pick you up.
Yeah.
Do you want me to snatch you up too?
Yeah. Well, maybe don't snatch me, because then we will be on the run.
Yeah. What's the problem? You kidnapped the queen.
You dropped napalm on one and kidnapped the other in 5 minutes.
Did you get it, Pete?
No.
Nope.
For real?
Yeah, it comes up here, babe. Everyone sees.
I can't see shit.
Do you want to roll?
Man, this thing is okay. What am I
He's
rolling?
gonna roll like one die, right?
Well, in his case, he needed a driving roll. Oh, there it is.
No, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, it
Hot
did
dog.
come in.
Yeah. Do you have any tags that could help you? You got one success.
Got one success.
You're basically trying to flee the scene without looking. I mean, everyone saw your vehicle, right? So anything that kind of make you more fit in, or they could give you an alibi, or have expert driving to just maneuver faster than everyone else.
Your tags suck.
My tags were not well thought out.
He's crusty.
Crusty, thirsty, and brooding.
Well, they're great for like kind of not when you're driving, right? Everything but driving.
Pretty much.
Wow.
I will go with crusty because I'm crusty and I don't take no shit.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing at all.
That doesn't work? Okay. I guess not, Pete.
Well, I mean, crusty taking no shit can work. As in like you're not going to wait. You're going to push through. You're going to possibly ram people if it gets you through. You're just going to be aggressive, right?
Right.
Brandon does not want you to play into his shenanigans.
As Chad just continues the way of like he's the victim, even
not
though
run
he should
over
no longer
anybody.
try to be the victim because he's drawing attention to you. Okay. Eugene, you get to the top, right? You get to the top of the roof of this building. Basically, it's like the third floor. It's, flat, a lot like a two-story garage with, parking inside is kind of what you're standing on the top of. You can see the smoke and fire that's basically like fire trucks coming and trying to, the crowd's making way. All the music is mostly stopped. Most of the festival is done. There's a lot of people still mobbed around watching. There are more TV crews coming in, and you see helicopters, which you assume are also TV crews. But you're on the roof. What do you do?
I'm going to dive off the roof into a dumpster.
Okay.
Because it's my specialty.
Why did you say it was your specialty?
Because I'm a stuntman.
Okay, all right. Which strategy would help you with that?
Hold my beer and watch this.
Okay. No need to roll, right? You are a stuntman. You're on top. You've basically escaped most of the badness of the situation. You are eluding and hiding in the dumpster, right? As you can imagine, do you kind of just dive into it, or is it like a roll, or is it kind of parkour down the side of the building? What's it look like?
It's jumping, but then having, done this kind of fall many times, I slow my way down, or I slow basically on the way down, I kind of grab the edge to slow things down, then kind of jump onto a ledge and then down into the dumpster.
Okay. All right. Lastly, everyone's kind of gotten away from the situation other than Tom and Chad. You guys are kind of pushing your way out the back. There are a lot of people trying to funnel out the backside. There are ambulances that are trying to come inside, and there are a lot of security that are starting to move your way. Brandon, which one of your strategies would help you deal with the pressure of seeing a lot of armed men coming in your direction?
Which one of my what?
Strategies. Do you have any strategies that help you be calm under the pressure that maybe they're not coming for us? Maybe they're going to go right by us.
I have parkour, cowardly, and sports trivia. Calm is not really my thing.
Start going over your baseball team to psych yourself out.
Yeah,
your fantasy baseball team.
Like, obviously the opposite of cowardly is that you could be, or you could say, hey, I use cowardly to freeze, right? So I don't draw any more attention to us, and maybe they'll just go by. That'd be imaginative. Well, that'd be a reasonable use of cowardly, actually. But
coward, yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of people panicking. You would just fit in with the crowd if you're acting like a crazy person.
Yeah, you could do that, or even like you could say sports trivia if you used it in a way like kind of what Brandi was going with. If you're like, okay, well, if I can look out there and I can see who the coaches are, I can kind of dictate where they're sending the troops, and I can tell they're not coming at us, or that they are.
How about I just dive into the floorboard and act scared?
Okay. Why don't you roll reason and cowardly?
Oh, wah, wah, wah.
Awesome. Okay. So that's finally we got a crit, right? So we got a crit that wasn't bought. It's a critical both. So with that, the first thing we do is let's find out what's the worst thing that can happen with this. So we start with the worst. We always go from the person who rolled first. So Brandon, what's the worst possible thing that could happen with you trying to hit the deck on the Jeep to not either deal with the oncomers coming, maybe coming to get you guys, or to hide from that? What's the worst thing that could happen?
Well, the worst thing that could happen would be I would bump my head on some futuristic Jeep, knock myself out, and wake up with people there.
Eugene, what's the worst that could happen?
As he's trying to dive down into the floorboard.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, we got a futuristic Jeep that's got weapons. We got a futuristic Jeep that's surrounded by people that could be, the wheel could be hit.
So he could hit. He could. As he's going down, kind of grab one of the the oil slick release.
The what? Oh yes, yes.
Well, obviously there's an oil slick.
Well, yeah,
release, and start pouring that, and that's going to catch on fire too.
That's where we get half the napalm.
Brandi, what's the worst thing that could happen?
He could accidentally hit one of the knobbies and activate the self-destruct sequence of the futuristic Jeep. It has it. Everyone knows that.
Jayson, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Sounds like the new queen wants to blow up my Jeep.
I'm saying you should be safer. That's all I'm saying.
I think the worst thing that could happen is security forces loyal to the old queen might take out the new queen.
Oh.
Not gonna happen. Listen, chauffeur. Go gas up my car.
Sure, yeah.
See you
You tell everybody I'm just your chauffeur. I see how it is.
Are we going to start dating again?
So we heard a lot of possibilities. Before I take that into account and spit out what happens, what's the best possible thing that can come out of this? So there's going to be a horrible thing and a really awesome thing. With the best thing, we end with Brandon's character because he gets the last say on that. So Eugene, what's the best thing that could come out of this? It might be story-wise more than for him, or it might be for him and not story-wise, but...
As he's diving into the floorboards, what's the best thing that could happen?
He was trying to hide, right? He was trying to,
Yeah.
hopefully that they weren't coming after them. Or him. Probably more him than them.
Yeah, so they're looking specifically for him because he was kind of attracting attention as the kidnapped victim. But now that he's hidden, they're like, oh, well, we don't see the guy we were looking for, so keep moving.
Awesome. So yeah, they were looking specifically for him, and they can't see him right now. They didn't. We're looking for the Jeep or Jayson. All right, Brandi, what do you think? What's the best thing that could come out of him hiding?
I'm really sorry. Don't hate me. Okay, so in this futuristic Jeep, there's a secret compartment that drops underneath the vehicle through the floorboard, and it's filled with the chauffeur's concubines.
What?
You're in a safe house full of naked women. That seems like a great.
Dead or alive?
You're alive in this situation.
I think that all Jayson had to say was what?
Jayson totally has a floorboard full of concubines. If anyone does, it's Jayson.
So my futuristic Jeep is now like a TARDIS?
Bag of holding.
Jayson, what's the best
Portable
thing that could
home.
happen?
I think the best thing that could happen is I escape and I'm lauded as a hero.
Okay, awesome. All right, Brandon, you get the final say on what was the best thing that could happen in the situation for your character or for the story.
I like Eugene's. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Okay.
They lose sight of me.
You hit the deck, right? All of the people who were in these vehicles are like scanning the scene, looking for you in particular. There was a guy on video. He was on one of the floats. He looked about yay tall. He was waving his hands. Oh yeah, that guy. I think his name was Chad. He's a no one can remember what your actual position is, so they have to physically find you, right? So they're looking for you in particular, but when you duck down, smash into the controls, or maybe you hit Tom as you duck down. You hit a bunch of buttons that are things that maybe aren't even supposed to be in conjunction. Tom, you find that Chad, for no reason, as you were kind of like just trying to navigate through this group of people to get out the back, hits the deck and he hits a whole bunch of buttons. There's grease coming out of the back. You're pretty sure that a couple of the weapons have been armed and are ready to fire. And for whatever reasons, your wheels are deflating and they're pushing out spikes. If you can deal with only 2 of the 3, which would they be? Armed weapons, spiked wheels, or grease?
I don't know. What do you think?
You can stop 2, but you can't stop all 3.
Stop the spiked wheels.
And the weapons.
And the weapons. Yeah,
I'm
we
not
can
worried
just
about grease.
we
It's a
can
Jeep.
grease. Yeah, it's a futuristic Jeep with a concubine storage.
I got my own spiked wheels.
Okay, so
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stop the weapons and the spiked wheels.
See
and then
how-
I'll turn on my own spiked wheels and take care of the grease later.
as you're navigating, right, the wheels begin to deflate, and it's like, oh shit, the spikes, and you can see a person, just a little kid who basically is with her mother that gets let go, and the kid falls down on his front face, stuck kind of in the mud, as the mom turns around and goes, oh no, and your wheels deflate, and the spikes start coming out, and you get close enough that you no longer can see the child, right, because of the hood of the vehicle. And you hit the button in time, where at least if he gets run over, it's going to be from the deflated wheels.
At the very least.
Can't I put him between my wheels?
Well, that's probably what you're going to try to do, right? But
Right.
Meanwhile, also, there are the guns that are beginning to, for whatever reason, just veer left and start targeting at the horizon, which is all of the military patrols that are starting to move in to build in some kind of a quarantine, right? They're trying to make a perimeter. And
Well, those guys should have known better than to attack the futuristic Jeep.
So you begin hitting the disarm keys and veering the wheel so that hopefully all four of the wheels go around this child. To the mom's just screaming bloody murder, right? And a lot of the people just stop and watch, like in awe. So you have no idea if it's horror or if it's just like suspense. And
That's right.
meanwhile, when that's happening, you hear a lot of people in the back behind you start yelling. And basically in your rearview mirrors, you can see that grease or oil or black tar, something of this mix is just shooting out of the back. This is how the new queen treats her
I
subjects.
didn't do it. I'm not even in this crazy whore jeep.
Okay. A whole bunch of people are being hosed down with what seems like boundless amounts of grease, tar, or oil, something that's being shot out. But the people in front of you mostly stop looking in horror as the kid is basically retrieved. But all of the people behind you are starting to choke on this grease and oil.
Aw, dang it. I wanted to dance fight in there and save the child. That would have been so great for my rating. I shouldn't have drank so many potatoes.
Jayson, you can't get the oil to stop for some reason because the button or the lever is jammed. What action do you try to do, given that you have to fire the grease at least behind the back half of you?
I will turn on the flame retardant foam safety feature.
He's not even trying anymore. He's just like, my Jeep rejects that. Because it's futuristic.
Well, it is futuristic.
Flame retardant foam feature.
I will launch countermeasures.
So if you spray the foam, what would happen?
It basically neutralizes the grease.
And neutralizes the people in the grease?
No. No, it's totally. It's 100% organic.
I want this Jeep,
Not
right?
tested on animals.
They can't.
Yes, no, it actually was tested on animals.
Oh no.
Yes.
Hey, Jayson, can you reconnect your Roll20?
Damn it.
I was letting it go with this great thumb in the cheek look, but
Should I just make? No, we've got spots. Next time we'll use my. Can you do multiple cameras from one computer, and I can just do two from me? Is that a thing?
if you could log into both accounts,
Oh,
you need
I
one
didn't-
camera on each account. I don't know if that works, but theoretically it might.
There's definitely going to be a next time because we're your favorite group ever, Pete.
There you go. Right there you go. Okay, so go and make a roll, Jayson,
Oh, okay.
of what
Now it's
happens with
frozen
the
again.
foam.
You're going to make him roll.
It's not frozen again.
Jayson, you could roll if you want to. You could roll in person.
Okay. I will. Since that seems to be easier. What am I rolling?
So you want to roll your futuristic Jeep, right? So one
Yes.
die has to be under that strategy, and the other one has to be under Imagine because you just created that like out of your ass.
Okay. So my futuristic Jeep roll is a 9.
Okay.
My Imagine is a 6.
Okay. And what is your actual Imagine score?
My Imagine is a 5.
Okay. So it's a double failure. You could
Damn
use up
it.
to 2 tags to help you, or you could buy your way out of it. What would you like to do?
Well, my tags suck. My tags are terrible.
Well, you're thirsty. You could drink up all the oil, right?
Oh yeah.
No, it's not a thing. But...
No, I'll buy my way out of it.
Okay. I imagine you're going to take the critical.
Yes.
For ease of use, what do you think is the best thing that could happen here? What would you like to make happen?
No one is accidentally caught on fire.
Okay, all right. So you spray the foam, and all of these people would have like the oil and grease like actually slowly removed from them, right? And
Yeah.
no one's caught on fire, but there's like a lot of foam like dissolving in the oil and grease, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody has a foam party. There you go.
Wow, that's a good one. Okay, so you start spraying it out, right? Now, to finish your milestone, you have a V8 powered death machine that appears it's going to elude the authorities here. It's going to get out of the scene, and the only thing you proved is that it's heavily dangerous, but at the same point, it did not actually end up killing anyone, here at least. It killed the queen. But what do you want this to look like of you escaping, at least this scene, by spraying the foam? Is it buying you time? Is it helping the people so that people come out and try to help them and leave you alone? What does it look like?
I do want to. I mean, my intention was to kill the queen.
Yeah.
And I don't want to kill any.
Don't say, he doesn't say that, though. As his lawyer, he does not say that.
I don't want any innocent people to die. I blame the queen for the death of my family. So that bitch got what she deserved. So, spray the foam, save the people, and then I escape.
Okay. So you start spraying the foam. It actually begins to help dissolve the grease in the oil. The kid's fine. No one was harmed other than Chad's head when he hit the buttons in his hand. They probably jammed the lever. With his
Took all the
head
hair
down.
right off the top.
That was stupid, Chad.
You fat slob. You fat bald
stupid.
slob. Is that what he is?
That's what he said he was.
No, I didn't say slob.
Oh, no, thief.
My bad.
Keep your hands out of my glove box.
Brandon, so you were hoping that when the queen was killed, that you could get one of the Super Bowl rings that she wears. Now, she has the whole set from the Utah team that are in the tabernacle, but the one pride and joy is the one that she had in her hand. So I just wanted to throw that out there as the thief part of you. You're hoping that this would still be managed. You're hoping that, you might still have a way to get, the princess to bring that to you, but that was kind of one of your ulterior motives in what you were doing, was hoping that that was one of the things on your bucket list to get.
Right.
But
I don't want the princess to bring it to me. I want to get it my own.
Right now, what you're seeing is basically as you kind of lift your head up over the Jeep seat, you were kind of seeing as you guys are leaving the tabernacle, leaving the city proper here, and heading towards the rendezvous point, which was this nearby ravine. Eugene, you hit the dumpster, you roll out. There's no one right there. There are crowds that are kind of moving around. They're talking about move out. There could be explosions. Move out. They're looking for a man on the loose. They describe Chad. Yes, the people the everyday people are looking for Chad. But you can mosey right into the crowd. What do you want to do? You got to get to the ravine.
I need to hotwire a motorcycle.
Okay. So in your case, we basically kind of see that scene fade as you find a motorcycle. Is a dirt bike okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good.
And you basically a quick twist of the wires and can take it in the commotion where there's a lot of things left out in the open.
Yep.
The queen, right, has taken the news anchor, who God, we need a good name for the news anchor. Anybody do we have any watchers that want to name the news anchor?
That's Rockwell.
My first name was LeFou. We're so good at names. Come on, guys.
I like Rockwell. What about a first name?
Come on, guys.
Chest Rockwell.
Chest Rockwell. Awesome. Okay. So we could say, Buff Johnson.
Buff Johnson. Yes, I like that one better.
We gotta save Chest Rockwell for another time. That's a good one too. Buff Johnson.
I'm taking Buff Johnson to my chambers now.
Okay. So
wait, is that Bud's brother?
So we drove a V8 powered death machine through the parade, through the garage, escaped out of the area onto the rendezvous point. So that milestone's completed. So as it rides off into the distance, Jayson, what does that look like? Is there anything different about the V8 powered death machine than when it first came in?
It's covered in gore and dust, and
Why?
and a little bit of vomit from Chad. Fear vomit.
Okay.
from Chad. What? And Chad's a willing occupant now. He has no choice but to be my.
You don't tell me what Chad is doing.
We're driving off into the sunset like Thelma and Louise, but dudes.
Okay, so with that milestone complete, everyone can raise one thing on their character. You're going to get 2 more belief, which, Jayson, you spent 2. I think, Brandi, you spent 2. So you're going to be back to 6, but Brandon and Eugene are going to be up to 8. Jayson, this was your milestone, so you could raise one of your things from 7 to 8. Everyone else can raise one thing from below 7 up by 1 towards 7.
The futuristic Jeep
Is now legendary.
So
it pipes up and it says, "Hello, Chad."
So I can raise my soul skills, and you said by 1, right? One of the. Okay.
That's a great face, and I loved it. For a second there, it was froze. It was the best face Jayson ever made. Like froze. It's great.
I think Jason's camera keeps freezing because his head is just too big to process. Too many pixels.
You look pretty good in mine.
Okay. So with that, we have 2 milestones left. So what I'm kind of hoping to do, given that we're not playing forever, right? So we have maybe 30, 40 minutes, and I want to kind of make sure that we're done by then. So with Jump the Ravine, we're gonna probably hit that and kind of montage or epilogue what happens with Steal a Super Bowl ring. Does anybody need 5 minutes? If you want to get up and stretch, or move around, or get a drink, or potty, or anything?
Yes. I think Brandi just farted, by the way.
I did not. It was my foot on the chair.
I don't know. We have an eyewitness, and he said that he thinks he farted.
She farted.
You can't see a fart, Pete.
No, I saw it. It was green.
Did anybody need a couple minutes, or you want to keep moving?
Grandpa Jason's gonna do some lunges in the background for a minute.
I gotta go potty.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I didn't flush earlier because I was afraid they'd hear.
That's gross.
I'll be back.
Right, I'll be back.
Okay. I'm going to get some water then.
I don't know.
Well, I guess I'll get up. I can't be the only one sitting here.
I did move it away from just staring at you on the cam, so at least there's that.
He could turn around and decide to save the queen.
He is gonna good
Sport.
well, no, he's not a long time listener and friend of Gamerstable. We should know better than to face the card.
Yeah.
Jason's pooping.
Your shirt's in the back. Wow. Hey, Nick,
It's a concert t-shirt. And it's from the song. I didn't choose which one I got, okay?
it's just funny because it's like those are all nationalities.
I know,
So you guys have
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
I don't know. I don't know. Hi, honey.
Oh.
Pete,
Yeah.
if Jayson asked, his car cannot actually cause a time warp, and at a certain speed, it throws us into a loop, and he can go back and save said queen. All right, just in case he decides to try.
All right, good to know.
Oh, I know. I never mute it when I go potty.
Just gotta call out that flux.
Hey, what the fuck?
Sorry, Jayson. I wanted to come up with that before you did. I don't know where Jayson went, actually.
Are you coming to work tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh.
That chair sucks. Try to pick it up. It weighs 1,000 pounds.
I don't know. I picked it up before.
Closing time. One last call for. So finish your
Okay. Looks like we are all back. Is Jayson back?
All right.
We got a nice froze face of Jayson.
I'm waving.
Jayson, you have to get a new computer before we do this again.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. We are back. Wu-Tang Dan, not muted. All right.
I couldn't figure out what else I can raise.
What you got?
Well, I raised my reason from 5 to... Oh, yeah, I can raise my body of spirit. Okay, never mind. I got it.
Sure.
I raised. There we go.
Do you have your imaginary reason both at 7? Is that what it is?
Good. No, but I just raised reason. I can't do that twice, can I?
You can, yeah. As long as you have the
can.
points, right? So you got 2 points from the first milestone, 1 from the second.
Fine. I'll do that.
Okay. As long as it doesn't go to 8 or higher. That's where you get capped for now. Okay. Moving right along. We got to jump the ravine. So there's a rendezvous point at the ravine. Jump the ravine was whose milestone?
Was Jason's.
Jason's.
Right?
Nope.
No.
I think
That was
Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene's. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Jason's already jumped a ravine. That's how you do it. Jump.
That's how you do it.
No.
Okay, so this one we're going to actually give you kind of something personal and kind of straight to the point. So we know that Chad and Tom are free and clear. The last milestone was a lot about making sure they got away empty-handed, or sorry, scot-free maybe. In your case, you eluded basically all the authorities, all of the problems, but you found yourself with a dirt bike needing to get back to the rendezvous point. You basically have till sundown before you know that everyone will turn away and leave. So you, being the stunt devil that you are, said, I got a dirt bike, and that should be enough time. And I do have a shortcut that's through the dunes. It sounds right up your alley. So
Yeah, I think they're closing off the bridges to secure the area for anybody else leaving.
Sure.
But they already left, right?
Yeah.
They don't really have a bridge to go over at this point because they're all secured by the guards.
To give a brief look at the challenges, we're going to give you a solo challenge here. That's going to be you getting to jump the ravine, getting to the rendezvous point. So what that looks like is when you make a challenge in Dreamchaser, you make it out loud so you can make it on the fly. The big reason is so the players hear what it is, so they know exactly how to fight it head on or how to creatively work around what its advantages are to make it easier for them, right? So everything has a mind, body, and spirit. In this case, the challenge is getting to the rendezvous point. So I'm going to put challenge as rendezvous. And the mind, body, and spirit of the challenge are how you heard it. It needs the health scores for those. So to outsmart your way through is probably, let's say, probably a 5 right now. It's a little harder to navigate because you have to stay away from the patrols and the bridges are out, like you said. The body of just driving through it, like, just bullying through it, just powering your way through it, is probably a 7. It's a little harder to do that than it is to smart your way through it. If you wanted to try to bribe police, or get people to put the bridges up or something, or make ramps for you, that'd be an 8, right? For spirit, that'd be really hard to do, but it's possible, right? Mm-hmm. Every challenge has tags, and one of the ways that it adds tension is that if I can hold one of my tags against you, I'm going to make you re-roll your successes. Okay? So the tags we have is that there's still patrols, like you said. There's no bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And time, because you do have till sunset. Okay? So, as you were saying, you know that the bridges are out. You can go through the dunes. You being a stunt driver, that sounds tempting in the way that like other people would be deterred by the danger of that. You find yourself in the sand dunes on a dirt bike, kind of out on the outskirts, kind of far from most civilization in the way. So there's no one really out here to help you or save you if you wreck or you break the bike. What would you use to navigate with the vehicle? What's your strategy for that?
Seems like I've been overusing hold my beer.
Which it was really good for your stunt driving, right? So if you try to explain how stunts can help you through this. But one of the things that you know from the challenge is if you can do more points to the mine, that's the easiest way to defeat it. So using your strategies to explain to me how you're outsmarting the course, like taking the best routes or avoiding the patrols, the bridges, or making it for time, are all ways that could really help you.
Well, for my strategies, I got to hold my beer, too old for this shit, and I can fix this.
Like I can fix this?
I think
could be ways to outsmart it if you could soup up the bike?
Yeah, I'm thinking soup up the bike or like, probably just make it more adept to driving in the sand.
Okay. What would you have found, or how could you have modified it to do that?
I'm thinking actually because of all the sand that's getting kicked up, the filter might start getting clogged. So I want to kind of put an extra layer on top of the intake so that it does some filtering first before it gets to the normal air filter. Okay. Which will make it more resilient to all the sand and dust that's getting kicked up.
Okay, so you're driving through the sand dunes. A little montage in your head is, you reliving like right before you left. Putting this filter flap on the back of the exhaust. Or I'm not a car guy, so kind of what you're saying. And then thinking about how it actually is effective now. So why don't you? I hope he doesn't fail this, right? Why don't you? It's going to be an imaginative use. So roll imagine, and I can fix this.
All right. Where did that go?
Yeah. Right? Someone needs to die a heroic death. Does it work if he died early?
No, but it's great. Like he just fails horribly and misses, just slams into the mountain or the dune.
Okay, so you got one success. As soon as you get a success, I have to think about if patrols, no bridges, or a time could be an issue that could stop you or give you problems. Obviously, you took the time to put this equipment onto the vehicle. If it doesn't work, then you lost more precious time. So reroll. In your case, you want to reroll your imagine. To see
reroll my imagine.
You might just want to type in /R 1d10.
Base 1d10, I think. Maybe. Hey, look at that.
Okay, and that stuck. So the extra time it took, you properly put the piece on. It should do the trick. Do you have any tags to help you try to get that strat? Oh, I'm sorry. That was okay. That was actually for your strategy because I had you reroll your success. Do you have any tags that could help you now try to fix that soul skill?
So the soul skill. So we're looking for a tag that would help me
have situated this filter or come up with the idea or found the parts quick or
Well, yeah, I'm experienced, so it's actually, since I'm a stuntman, we filmed in under these conditions before with vehicles, so that's why I kind of know what exactly needs to be done to make them not clog up so much in these conditions.
Okay. Go ahead and make a roll. In this case, if you find your tag, there should be a button right next to it.
Yep.
Okay. And so that made it so you had a 3 and a 6, which are both successes. So how it works is your successes now do damage to the challenge. Your fails would damage you, right? So you're targeting the mind, which is kind of what you were setting out to do. So the mind goes from 5 to 3. So you only need to do 3 more points of damage to the mind to beat the challenge, or 7 more to the body, or 8 to the spirit. So it gives you an idea of like what's neat is that players can also attack anything that fits them, but their situation may not be as effective in the situation. So the patrols were a problem, the no bridges, and the time were a problem. Are any of those things kind of no longer an issue? It's a benefit of getting 2 successes.
Sorry, say that again?
You can remove patrols, you can remove no bridges, or you can remove time as being an issue, thanks to what you did.
Okay, I'll remove time.
Okay. It saves you so much time that now you're ahead. You're close to the rendezvous point. There's still some patrols ahead, and the lack of bridges is causing you to actually have to drive and take ramps of these sand dunes to cross the rivers, leading you ultimately to a jump over the ravine, which is something you know that there's a grand ravine by where they need to gather, and you don't know of any good way to get there if all the roads are blocked, basically. So in your case, what do you want to do next? I imagine you have to do some stunt driving.
Yep. And I'm thinking at some point, some patrol is on my tail.
Okay.
So I'm trying to lose them, but also I'm driving into the sunset.
Smart.
So it's actually, they're losing me in front of the sun.
Okay.
Where it's blinding them and they can't quite see where the hell I'm going because when they look for me, they see the sun in their eyes.
That sounds great. What strategy would you use to sort of either do that or for your driving?
I think for the driving, I will do the hold my beer. I'll also kick up some sand as I'm driving, just for the just a few extra revs and sliding out to the sides to kick up extra sand.
Awesome. Sounds like Imagine. From your description, the patrols will not be a problem because you described how you're basically effectively making that not a problem. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
All right, so roll the Imagine.
Mm-hmm. Roll Imagine and the strategy.
Hold my beer, Imagine.
Okay. 2
all
successes.
right.
Okay. Only thing I can hold against you is the bridges, but the whole reason you're doing what you're doing is because you were avoiding the bridges in the first place. So nothing to hold against you. 2 successes. That mine's down to 1. Okay. Last but not least, the ravines ahead of you. You believe that the patrols are no longer much of an issue. They're still around. And maybe there could be some that were standing back, realizing that you were going to get stuck here, or somebody would. But you have a giant ravine. Imagine what would be in your way to either ramp over it or to ford across it. How do you think you could manage to get across the ravine?
I'm going to kind of... Yeah. All right. Hold my beer. I'm going to actually head towards one of the patrols.
Yeah.
And has one of those high-speed chase vehicles that's basically parked facing towards me in front of the ravine, and I'm just going to drive full speed towards it and pop onto its hood and off of its windshield, just ramp up and jump the ravine using the vehicle as a ramp.
Okay. Now, it's worth me telling you, right? You have your critical successes. You have a lot of belief right now. Do you want to go ahead and use one? This is built for it to be your moment.
Probably a good time.
Right.
Should I roll first and then buy it, or just go with it and buy it?
Totally up to you. The only question is you can't buy your way out of it if you critical fail.
Okay.
If you
let me
critical,
just
you
buy it
can't
off.
buy your way out of it. That's the only catch.
Okay. I will just buy. And that's a 2 belief to buy it.
So what
All
does
right.
it look like? If we were the audience, what do we see?
Yeah. So I am basically there is a patrol on my ass chasing me, and they have the barricade in front of me. Basically, the cars lined up, and the ravine is right there, and they think they got me because they have my path blocked with their cars, and there's some behind me, and they're just going full speed. So as I pop up and use that car as a ramp and jump over the ravine, the chase cars actually end up smashing into the patrol that's standing there blocking my way.
Yeah.
And some of the vehicles actually end up falling in as I sail over the setting sun, and right on, land right on the edge of the other side of the ravine, and then just slide to a stop, look back, and then drive off.
Okay. And as you slide back, you look over, you see the calamity that you semi-caused, right? Or was there overreaction to you? Can kind of see all of that kind of settle as you just drift off towards the rendezvous point. At the rendezvous point, we have Brandon and we have Jayson, so we have Tom and we have Chad. You guys have the van. I imagine like all the other scenes, you have the Jeep. Like all the other scenes we've had prior, I imagine the two of you are arguing. Where the two of you are like, Chad, you're probably saying something along the lines of all of your fears and all the problems that have come out of his bad plan. Jayson, I think Tom is probably pretty happy with what's happened.
Oh, yeah. Got exactly what I wanted. Yeah. Chad can just suck it up. Suck it up, Chad.
Aw,
I'm more of a like a scorned woman, cold shoulder kind of guy. Just
Eugene, as Bud Johnson pulls up on this dirt bike, you see the two of them sort of chatting. The typical fashion that you've seen is now the routine course where Chad's in the passenger seat and he's got his arms crossed and he's kind of just like you can imagine the words that are coming out of his mouth with the eye rolling and the not making eye contact and the kind of like one-upping nagging at the end. As Tom seems happy, confident, in one piece, admiring his Jeep, and behind them is a van that is pulling up with a bunch of motorcycles in tow. Chad, as you hear this noise coming, you remember that you had a meeting with your with Rick Harrison that in the future that he was very interested in these Super Bowl rings. But Rick Harrison seems to have met you a little early, as he must have known where your rendezvous point was going to be. As you turn around, you see him and what looks like a row of enforcers on motorcycles. Tom, you were unaware of this situation, or other people maybe knowing of your rendezvous point. I don't know if you know who Rich... Is it Rich? It's Rick Harrison, right?
yeah, it's Rick.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily if you know who Rick Harrison is, but him and a bunch of people... He comes out of a van, and a bunch of people come out. Chase webcam says hell no.
I know who Rick Harrison is. I've watched Pawn Stars.
So you see this van and a whole bunch of motorcycles on the side pulling up, and out of the van comes Rick Harrison, and he makes eye contact with Chad, and looks like they know each other. And you're like the Pawn Stars guy, right?
Yep.
So obviously, player-wise, Jump the Ravine happened. We hit that milestone. I'm just kind of glossing over to the end. So Rick Harrison is walking towards you, Chad. You know what he wants. You know that he's a very interested buyer in these Super Bowl rings. He's very persistent about it, but you didn't feel like you didn't take the job, did you?
No.
What's your relationship with Rick on your sheet?
It's just close.
Okay. He starts walking towards you. All right.
Business relationship.
All right. What do you want? I know you got it. I saw it all over TV. I'm here to make a deal. You got something. I want it. You got the leverage in the situation. What's your price? Starts walking toward you, kind of like rubbing his hands. He's got some rings on his finger. Nothing that fancy, right?
Right. Nothing that fancy. Well, Rick, I want a lot. It was a big job.
Yeah, he looks at you a lot like what? What do you want? You want money? I can get you money.
Yeah, I want money.
Chad, just remember, he has to be able to resell that in the shop. So, not going to give you retail.
Thanks.
Okay, so introducing that situation, Brandon, did you have something that you wanted to try to get out of him for it?
No, just money.
Okay. Eugene, you pull up, and Bud Johnson pulls on the dirt bike. Tom, you make eye contact. You see the Buds here. Everyone's here but Winona. I'm sorry, maybe it's Winona, right? Didn't we say Winona?
Winona.
Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
So let's go ahead and move. We'll move to an epilogue. So with an epilogue is, all right, so last but not least, someone has to die a heroic death. We need to steal a Super Bowl ring. Now, of course, die a heroic death could be a spin on the queen, or it could be on a player. So we need to hit the heroic death in some way, and we need to steal a Super Bowl ring, which we last knew was on the queen. How does this kind of pan out in the end that we have this surprise rendezvous by the potential buyer and everyone meeting at the rendezvous point, possibly with the ring? So first thing I would probably throw to you is Brandi, because you were the one who could get the ring, and you were there, basically, back at the tabernacle.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely getting this ring. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with it. Do I know that Chad wants it?
That's a very good question. Chad, is there any reason that she would know that you want the ring?
I can't think of any reason. Chad's kind of a private person.
Yeah. So in your case, maybe you take the ring, but that's only because like maybe the personal effects are given to you of the queen as they rummage the body. So are you going to head to the rendezvous point, or are you going to try to avoid it? Because there's a lot of attention on you now.
I have an invisibility cloak, so I disappear into my, like, a little bit away from the public eye, and then I slip out. I put my invisibility cloak on, and I go to the rendezvous point.
Okay. So just prior to that, a man will walk up to you. I'm so sorry for your loss. And a young man who's obviously very well-mannered, dressed to the nines with, the tuxedo-like appearance and the white gloves, and hands you a gold box looking like it could hold like a locket. And he opens it up, and it does in fact have the jewelry effects of the queen, which does include a couple of Super Bowl rings.
Of course it does.
And a set of earrings and a necklace. Most of it is gold, as it was for the Harvest Festival. But she hands you this box, and sorry, looking at this. He hands you this box, and of course apologizes for your loss, and gives you the condolences of the people. You have no idea who this guy is, other than some civil servant. You can take your leave, invisibility cloak. How do you get there? It's not that close. I mean...
well, since my chauffeur fucked off, I mean, you did.
Sorry.
Could he have left you another way to get there?
I'll probably take an Uber. Like you do.
Okay. Meanwhile, so we know that that's kind of happening in the background. Eugene, is there anything that you'd want to do given the situation? It sounds like we have a buyer for something you didn't know that we necessarily needed. He seems very interested in Chad. Like there was something he was supposed to get. He assumes he already has it. There's a bunch of muscle here too. That's obviously a thing here why did he think he needs a bunch of muscle? they mostly look like security guards you find at like the bowling alley or something. They don't look like, too intimidating or fierce.
Yeah, I don't know if I know that. Well, this might be the first time hearing about the Super Bowl ring. So I don't know what I have to go on in this case.
Okay. You're welcome to introduce anything, given it's towards the end, in the way like it's the end of a movie. There could be more reasons that you were involved, or maybe even you could be the person who tipped off Rick Harrison. But all up to you. Think about it. Jayson, is there anything you're doing?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to try and get back to my employer.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm shirking my duties as chauffeur and now and regicidal maniac.
Okay. For convenience, she's about to arrive. So, Brandon, is there anything you wanted to do before she arrives?
I just want to assure Rick that I have secured the ring and it's in a safe spot.
Do you have any strategies that would help you convince him that this would be the case?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. No.
Does your character think that the ring's actually coming or no?
No, I don't think he does.
Okay.
I'm just scared of the people that Rick brought. So I'm just...
It's always cowardly.
Right.
Winona, you arrive. So all of the men with Rick start pulling out, guns as a car starts pulling up, kicking dirt in the background. Sorry, Eugene, what are you saying?
I had a thought for the resolution of all this, but
go for it.
If you had something, okay. So my thinking is the person who gave Winona the Super Bowl rings, the whole jewel case, as it was actually loyal to the original queen, and one of the rings had a poison needle in it, and as Winona gets out and she is about to put on a ring and kind of show it off.
Yeah.
Philip notices the poison needle, and there's a little squeak of no as he dives headfirst into the ring. They're stabbing himself with the poison needle to save Winona, his true love, and dies a heroic death.
Okay. Brandon, any comment?
That was unexpected. The fast-moving heroic turtle.
He's magical, obviously.
To the rescue, so well done.
Would you pull up in the car, or would you come up actually with the invisibility cloak and get dropped off a little ways away?
Oh, I would just straight roll up there. These are my people,
What's we need like a very average car, like a Toyota Camry pulls up.
I'm thinking Ford Focus.
Ford Focus pulls up.
Had a couple burn marks, but it's pretty clean. I'm gonna give you 5 stars.
There's like an air freshener, and there's like some fresh bottles of water in the back. With the mints if you wanted.
I like to think that if Philip sacrifices himself to save me, he turns back into a man. And my ever-blooming rose wilts and dies.
It's great because Jayson's face is frozen in this dumb look, which just adds to all of the stuff that's being said right now.
Jayson's face is permanently in a dumb look.
Wait a fucking second.
Wait the second, the one. Wait the fucking second.
Okay, so running with the ideas that we have here. So, Winona, you get out of this car. It sounds like you say something nice to the driver.
Yeah, I rate him 5 stars. He got me here. It's like chaos in these streets, and I got here in good time. That was nice. When
you pull up, you see a dozen guys on motorcycles, like Harleys, and they all have submachine guns they point in your direction.
That's rude. I'm the queen.
You have this little box with you. Chad, you look over, and as a thief, your eyes kind of stare at the box, and you realize that would be like a royal funeral box, right? Yeah. It could, in fact, have the Queen's ring, Super Bowl rings, if at least the one she was wearing in it. So, to your surprise, some sort of thief's luck, that it could it possibly be that the ring could just appear? And if it did, you still have all the leverage. I imagine she goes to open the box unless anyone says anything. Rick Harrison would look towards Chad. Is she with you?
I'm tired of carrying around this box. Obviously, Regal dresses don't have pockets, so I'm just gonna start putting this jewelry on. I'm tired of toting it around. Even in death, the queen's a pain in my ass.
So, where does the turtle jump out of?
Well, you can't just ask a lady where she keeps her turtle.
Turtles don't jump.
Wow.
I have in all my outfits, I have a special Phillip pocket. All right, it's a neat little pocket.
So
That's not what I meant. That is not what I meant.
Turtle pocket.
So out of your secret pocket, a turtle emerges, who, in some squeaking caw of a turtle screech noise, makes something that just to everyone else is incomprehensible, right? Other than a screeching turtle noise, but to Winona, you hear, you can hear the prince. No, don't put the ring on. It's a trap.
I like to see him on my shoulder, trying to tell me, and he just dives for it. And his little turtle leg thing just goes right in it, and he's just a goner.
And the turtle hits the ground as it spirals after getting its leg stuck into the ring and spirals to the ground in slow motion. Rick Harrison looks over. It's like, you idiots, that's the queen now. Is that the Super Bowl ring? As the turtle kind of dives, hits the ground. The prince says something as he's falling, something along the lines of, I'm glad I could save you from this death, as it hits the ground. And if you could imagine a little turtle that would spread its arms out on its back and head turned to the side with the little tongue croaking out. The ring slips off, and you can see a little metal needle that's sticking from it. That's kind of propped up from the bottom of the band. And there's a little bit of the red liquid, which is blood. That just a little prick that came from the turtle.
Just a little prick.
This little prick.
You stop it.
The turtle would slowly begin to grow back into a person, into the prince.
Just quick.
My single tear just falls on his lips as my ever-blooming rose dies.
Wilts and dies as the prince becomes whole again into a full-bodied person, though very hairy as he hasn't shaved in a very long time. So this deserted man-looking person who is in clothing very similar to a ragged version of what would have been his princely garbs, lays in the sandy wasteland that's just kind of blowing over. Your flower, your rose wilts as the petals kind of fall on it. Meanwhile, this is all artistic and beautiful, but Chad, you are between the two of them. You see the ring and you see Rick Harrison, and he is just stunned right now. What happens?
I grabbed the ring. Maybe it fell to the ground. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. When the heroic turtle came flying in, and I say, Rick, I told you it was on its way. Delivered by turtle, as every ring should be. And then I start negotiating money.
Okay, that kind of fades to black. Jayson, what's the last thing we see of Tom?
Tom gets in his V8 death machine and he drives off into the wasteland.
Tom the chauffeur drives me back
with the new queen. But I kidnap her and I take her to Nevada.
where she's no longer queen. What happened to Bud Johnson?
Right. Nevada, where we do all the nuclear testing. Nuclear
actually,
wasteland.
at the point
and that's
when
where we
the
start the second
gun,
session, where I take over Nevada.
at the point where the guns start coming out,
Yeah.
he just mutters under his breath, "I'm too old for this shit," and just drives into the dunes.
Did Chad get a deal?
Wait a minute.
Yes,
I'm
why not?
sorry. Before we end, can I use my Book of the Dead to res an undead princely turtle? Or a hairy undead prince?
What it
I
sounds
gotta
like
know.
is it sounds like as the credits would roll, there'd be those little cutscenes of you flipping through the book, spitting out words you can't pronounce. You know, like
Trying to learn Latin, like, really fast.
ecto veratu, yeah. Who wants with the dire heroic death? Who wants to? I mean, I imagine the newscasters, right? Spin a story. What is that story? Of the prince's return, but also dead. The queen's dead. Everyone died for what? What was the heroic story that the people heard?
Nothing.
To Blave.
To Blave.
Blave. The people rose up from this oppressive queen, and the few that were terribly loyal to the queen tried to assassinate the wonderful princess, who was, oh my goodness, she was great, honestly. And
Are you really a better queen than the one we just had?
that's in
No.
and they saved her.
Eugene
in
says,
doing
fuck, that's the
so-
worst answer ever. He left.
In doing so, they saved the kingdom, alright? Because only this princess could save the people. Obviously. And something to do with the turtle.
And something to do with the turtle, yeah. It became the national mascot of Utah.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
changed the football. It's the Utah Turtles now. They've won 3 Super Bowls since then.
Awesome. So the last thing we do in Dreamchaser, whether it's the end of a session or the end of a game, is we do a thing called gratitude. So every player think for a minute on something another player did that made your experience better. Whether it was something stupid they did, or something silly they said, or some moment that was badass, or some role that was great.
I think Eugene surprising us with the turtle. That was pretty good.
It was great too. I mean, that's kind of where the epilogue is, right? Just come in with whatever idea you have and run with it.
Yeah.
Did we lose Eugene, or Eugene, is it just your camera?
Did we lose him? Is he really gone?
Well, when he comes back, you might have to say it again, but we gotcha.
Okay.
I really liked Cowardly Chad and also Napalm Tom.
Wow, awesome. That's epic. Cowardly Chad and Napalm Tom.
I don't like my name.
I like mine. Mine's good. I'll take it.
I'm gonna do you guys play brothers in something. Cowardly Chad and Napalm Tom.
Yeah, and Jayson, you were the first player to effectively have like the Knight Rider, right? But it was a Jeep. It was awesome.
A futuristic Jeep.
Yeah, a futuristic Jeep, of course.
Yeah, come on, don't downplay that, Pete.
Brandon, what do you think?
I think the dumbest part of the whole thing was Jason's futuristic Jeep scooping me up and putting me in the passenger seat.
No, you misunderstood. We're supposed to compliment earlier.
I'm sorry.
No, it's an either way.
Let's try again. The best part was the futuristic Jeep scooping me up with a man catcher.
It's like a giant catcher's mitt.
Like a giant catcher's mitt.
Well, thank you all for playing. We recorded in just under 3:52 or so I appreciate it. I didn't mean to go for 4 hours. I was hoping for like 3.5-ish would change, so we did okay. I hope you had a good time. It was definitely a very interesting story that was like a little Thelma and Louise and a little bit like, I don't know, Mad Max, I guess. Like,
Meets Disney, meets...
yeah.
Well, Pete, first of all, you clearly got the Gamerstable B team here. You didn't get the cream of the crop.
It was a pleasure, man. Like, you know me, like I've always loved the podcast, so it's cool to actually just really get to hang with you guys and especially play a game, because even when we've had that chance to talk, we've never got the game. So online's never going to be the same as in person, but this was still a real joy. So
This was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah,
That was fun.
congratulations
Good
on the
time.
game. It's pretty impressive.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is amazing. I had a blast. I haven't had this much fun playing a game in a hot minute, so
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
kudos. That was awesome.
Give your best to your lovely wife for us.
Yeah, we'll do.
Team Carly!
Okay. Well, I'm about to close the stream. We do have our conclusion tomorrow for my weekly Twitch game that is for Dreamchaser. We've been hunting down monsters to build armor and other equipment from their monster parts. So tomorrow we hunt down the Cycloctator, which has been our epic goal and our epic finale. So that is at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. And then new game next week. So that's what we got on the Dreamchaser Pete channel. Thank you all for playing. Sucks we didn't get Eugene back. It was really, really cool to have him. Congrats on the Gamerstable Kickstarter that made it all possible. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you guys.
I don't know how to close this. I'll just keep waving.
Bye, Pete. See you, buddy.
Okay. No, that was me closing the stream and stuff. So the stream's all closed, and I like that we caught Jayson saying, bye, buddy.